Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Giving honor to the Most High and the Son Yahushua. We're on the battle axis from Dallas, Texas, man. Live on the Shabbat to give Israel, man, a word from the Most High God. As you know, we are His spokesman, so we just want to give praise, honor, and glory to our Maker, the Most High, for giving us the allowance to be here, to celebrate His Sabbath, to keep His Sabbath in holiness and righteousness. We thank brothers for coming in, for sisters trying to get into the brotherhood as well as the sisterhood to come into this thing together, man. So just praise the Most High for giving us the opportunity to get filled with His Ruach or His Spirit today. So we hope brothers and sisters have eyes to see, ears to hear, heart to understand this word that's coming out today. Today's class will be going to the Lord swear by it. The Lord swear by it. Second wilderness. So we'll be touching on a few accounts that happened in the first wilderness and see what's going to really transpire in the second wilderness. As you know, this world is a big circle in the Most High God's eyes. So, like we said, the Lord swear by. We'll touch on that because who's the only person that can swear by anything and make that thing come true? The Most High God, right? So, He did that in the first wilderness, and we'll show the account and why some of the things we do as a nation of people and how to strengthen up ourselves to be ready for the second wilderness. I remember Brother Noah, young Noah brought, was that you brought the crickets and things? But whoever brought them, just since the Genesis, that's right. It's like it. But that's some minor things. We need to establish what righteousness. We need to establish discipline, man. Right? Love and basically respect for our God, man. These are the main things, the characteristics we have to take into the second wilderness, man. Because the Most High ain't gonna play no games. He swear by it the first time, we gonna do the second time the same. We can jump into it. Let's go to Psalm 75, chapter 6. Brother Keenan, Benaniah gonna read. Okay. Bring this out, huh?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 75 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor the west, nor from the south.
So the Most High is giving you a account that says the promotion of this world, promotion of you being more in tune with who you are, growing spiritually. He said that promotion doesn't come from the north. It doesn't come from the east or the west or the south. Read on.
Verse 7, but God is the judge.
But who is the judge?
But God is the judge.
The Most High is the judge. So things are going to happen not on our account, not on the world's account. Basically going into what? These nations that we are really putting ourselves around and kind of dictating our lives around, man. Right? The east going into what? China, the raising of the sun, man, all the way to the west and the south, man. Right? America, Babylon, man. He said promotion is not coming from them, man. So the same way you can get promoted, you can get what? Demoted, right? You can go to a job and you can get put up into a better position, right? Or you can go to a job and then they can say, well, hey, you ain't been flourished in that position, so we're going to demote you. So promotion and demotion will come from the Most High God. Read 7 again.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 75 and verse 7. But God is the judge.
But the Most High God is the end of all judges, man, right? Read on.
He put it down one and set it up another.
And that's the main point. He put it down one and set it up another. Like we said, we know scriptures are twofold. Sometimes have 2 or 3 meanings. He put it down one, set it up another. Just like with the kings, man. Just like with the rulership or the heavens of the other nations, right? He put one up, drop that down, bring another one up, right? In this instance, we're going into what he put it one down, the wilderness, the first wilderness that we were in, and now guess what? He's going to do the same thing in the second wilderness, man. Read that again now.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 75 and verse 7. But God is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another.
He put it down one and set it up another. So we know God is the judge, the end all be all of things, man. So we got to make sure that we get it right because the judge does what? He judges, man. He is the end all judge of this thing. We know that we are sitting in judgment through his word, but he is the final judge. He has the final say so. Like we say, when he banged that gavel, man, hey, all praises to the Most High, because it is going to be what it is. Like I said, by his spirit, he swear by it. So we got to make sure that we do things in order, because he goes set it, as he set it up the first wilderness, he's going to do the same thing in the second wilderness. Let's go to second Esdras, chapter 7. Second Esdras, chapter 7. Let's start at 69. You know, Esdras asked a lot of good, deep questions, man. And these are some questions that brothers and sisters should have, man. If you're really trying to get to the kingdom, these are questions, great questions that Esdras was asking, man, around this time, man. Second Esdras, chapter 7, and start at verse 69.
This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 7 and verse 69.
Bring it out.
And being judged.
Now, we just read that the Most High is the judge, right? And being judged, read.
If he should not forgive them that are cured with his word.
So this is Esdras asking the question, if he would not forgive them that are cured by his word, read.
And put out the multitude of contentions.
And put out the multitude of contentions, read.
There should be very few left peradventure.
He said, let's just say then it's going to be very few that's going to be left, man. If the Most High doesn't put out the contentions of this world, nor does he forgive those that are changed by his word, it's not going to be a lot, right? Read that again, verse 70.
This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 7 and verse 70. There should be very few left peradventure, in an innumerable multitude.
He said there shall be very few left in an innumerable multitude. So Esdras is getting the understanding. He's trying to ask the angel, like, man, look, is the Most High going to what? Give them forgiveness, or forgive them if they are cured by his word, if they let the word change them, if they become a child again, right? If they take off the old man or old woman and they become a child again, right? He's saying if the Lord gonna forgive them with that, man, it's because if he won't, that are cured by his word, because the word is what actually cures us, right? It's not what we already know. Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 12. It's not nothing else, but it's the word of God that cures you. So he said if he won't save them, or if he won't take out the multitude of contentions, what is the word contention going to? Problems, things that are against what, like, contentions are things that are against where we're trying to go, right? What you're trying to get to. If we're trying to get to the 10-yard line, and it's a big grass hole in the grass, that's a contention for us right there, right? Now that's a problem that's gonna help us. That's not gonna help us get to that 10-yard line. So Esdras is saying if he won't forgive them that are cured by the word, or take out the multitude of contentions, who is that multitude of contentions? The world, man. Worldly lust, man. Spiritual Babylon, man. America, man. The heathen nations, man. Giving us all these different things, idolatry, man. Going into these different wicked holidays and days and birthdays and things like this. These are the multitude of contentions, man, that Esdras is asking about. If he don't take that away, he said there should be very few left. Peradventure, that means what? Let's just say an innumerable multitude. But the angel gonna give him an understanding, right? Because he said it's not gonna be a lot of people if the Lord don't do this. But the angels read on.
Chapter 8. 1. This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 8, verse 1. And he answered me, saying, the Most High had made this world for many. So the angel's giving Esdras the understanding, yeah, he made the world for many, right? You're asking, you're saying that there's not going to be a lot left because of the multiple contentions of the world, or few that's going to get actually changed by the word. Esdras is like, it's not going to be that many people then, right? Right, but the angel gives them understanding to say, yes, the world was made for many. Read on. But the world to come for few. But the world to come for few. This is why the second witnesses must happen. Because it's not going to be everybody, man. We already know this. Like I said, it ain't going to be lotted out of everybody in this point in time.
The world to come is not for everybody. It's not for other nations. And it's not for what? Those that don't want to get changed by this word, or those that want to stay in contentions with the multitude of contentions in this world, man.
That's right. The ones that don't want to keep the Most High God's commandments. The Most High God is always taking what? Quality over quantity.
That's right.
We can't just do whatever the hell we want and think that we going to make it to the kingdom or even make it to the wilderness. Because like we said, that's going to be a proven part to that too.
Exactly. That's right. Read 8 and 1 again.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And he answered me, saying, the Most High had made this world for many, but the world to come for few.
So the angel is giving Ezra an understanding. Yeah, you're right. Because Ezra was like, well, if this the case, it won't be a lot that make it. So the angel is giving him an understanding. Yes, although the Most High made the world for men, this is what we do out there. We give an account every time we go out to the street. Well, why the Lord make the so-called white man? Well, why the Lord make the so-called Chinese man? He made them for his will. But it's not meaning that they're going to make it to the kingdom just because he made them, right? He let them know it's going to be a lot of people. The world was made for many. I made the Assyrians, right? I made the Cushites. I made the Africans. I made Ham, Japheth, Shem. He said, but the world to come is only going to be for a certain few. And we're going to have to get tried in that second wilderness, man, to get down to that few. Like we say, you look at your brother and sister, look at your neighbor, you want everybody to make it to the kingdom. But guess what? We know that that's not the case, man. Right? We're running this race, man. Everybody has the opportunity to win this race, right? Everybody's not going to be a winner. So we want to make sure that we do the proper things because let's just read on. Read 2.
Verse 2. And I would tell thee a similitude, Ezra.
So now the angel's going to give him a similitude. Read on.
As when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that it giveth much mold thereof, earthly vessels are made.
It said where it give much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, man. It's much mold, man, in earthly vessels, man, right? What is mold, man? Things that are not profitable with what you have. Like if you store some food, man, and over a period of time, that food and other foods in that refrigerator, it makes it mold, right? Because it's not good for it. Or it's old, or over a period of time, that food has got rotten or molded, right? That's what the world has done to the children of Israel. It has rotted us, and it has molded a lot of our people, man. A lot of our people are molded right now because they think what Christianity is the way. They think that they can do whatever the hell they want to and still make it to the kingdom. This world, the earthly vessels are molded, and they are also molding the children of Israel, man. That's why the Most High going to knock some of that mold off. You know, we was in children. I don't know if y'all ever had to do it, but you ain't got that much bread, so you see a little mold in that thing. You go scrape that thing off a little bit. You go cut that little end piece off. You gonna have you a janky slice of bread. But at least you got some bread, right? That's what the Most High God is gonna do, man, in the second witness, man. It might not be a full loaf of bread. It might not even be a full slice. But whatever is molded on their bread or whatever is molded with the children of Israel, the Most High will surely get rid of it, man, in the second witness. Just like he did in the first witness. And we'll get into that. Read on now.
But little dust that gold cometh of.
But read that again.
But little dust that gold cometh of.
Because when you refine gold and purify gold, if you purify it to the most utmost point, it's not that much. The more you refine and purify gold, the least of that gold you have. It's knocking off all the things that are not profitable for that gold to be what? The best 24 karat gold it can be. Now you done knocked it down to a 14 karat. Then you knock some more down, and now it's a 10 karat because of the mold of the world. But for it to be a 24 karat, you gotta knock some of that stuff off of it, man. But the world is molding that gold. But it said much, but little dust cometh, but little dust that gold cometh, man. Right? Read on.
Even so is the course of this present world.
So you're giving a similitude and saying, even so is this present world. Right? The same thing is going to happen in this world. Like he said, the world was made for this world was made for few. I mean, many, but the world to come for few. Like he said, that gold tried, it's not going to be a lot of gold left. You'll start off with a real big real big brick of gold. And when the Most High finish trying that gold, refining that gold, you might get a little small, little dust, right? Read on.
Verse 3. There be many created, but few shall be saved.
So the angels give them understanding again. Many were created, man, but only few will be saved. And this is going to what? The nation of Israel as well, man. Many created. It might be many that make it to the wilderness. The first wilderness, there were many that made it. But them 40 years of trying them, hey, it became few. Right? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 10. Start at verse 9. So the Most High is going to try us like he always said, that gold, man, that gold is going to be refined. And it's not going to be much at the end of that thing, man. You got to get that mold off that bread, man. That mold is going to deteriorate a lot of our people, what it's doing right now.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 9.
Bring it out.
Neither let us tempt Christ.
Read that again.
Neither let us tempt Christ.
Neither let us tempt Christ, man. We do not want to tempt the King of Kings, man. Right? We do not want to tempt the Most High God nor his Son, man. It said, neither let us tempt Christ. Why?
As some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents.
As some of them also tempted and were destroyed of the serpents, man. Going into what? Every one of our captivities, man. We tempted the Most High God. We tempted Christ, and we were destroyed by the serpents, man. We were destroyed. We know the serpent, man. It's the so-called white man or other heathen nations, man. What was the serpent doing with Adam? I mean, with Adam and Eve, man. The biggest thing he did was lie. These lies, and that we are believing in, we're tempting God, man. Christianity, biggest lie. What are we doing? We are tempting the Most High God. We are tempting Christ, man. Read that again.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 9. Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents.
And were destroyed of serpents. Read on.
Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured.
Read that again.
Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured.
Because that was a big problem with that when we went into the second witness. After the first Exodus, the Most High showed his power with a mighty hand, right? Showed his miracles, man, his works. And we went right into the wilderness and started murmuring and complaining. I wish we would have stayed in Egypt. Did the Lord send us to the wilderness just so we could die? We thirsty. We hungry. My foot hurt. Ants I hurt. Spiders, banana spiders, they don't bite, but they just all over the place. I ran into a spider web the other day. I wouldn't have had to do that in Egypt. We murmur and complain. We do this today. Write a check note down and get understanding that this is one of the reasons that we're having to go into the second witness, because we are murmuring today. What you got, huh?
Let's go to Exodus chapter 23 real quick. Talking about. Because he warning us then, but guess what? He warned the children of Israel back then too. He have always gave us a warning before destruction. Right? Read Exodus chapter 23 and verse 20.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 23 and verse 20.
Read.
Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way.
So guess what? A lot of people that does not understand the concepts of the Bible, you see the word angel is wrote in the capital letter. That's the angel, the messenger of the Most High God, which is going into Christ, right? Read.
And to bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
Beware
of him.
What the Bible say?
Beware of him.
It said, this angel that the Lord sent in front of us, the Lord said, beware of him, man. Read.
Beware of him and obey his voice.
And obey his voice. Read.
Provoke him not.
He said, don't provoke him, man. Read.
For he would not pardon your transgression. For my name is in him.
So the Most High God said, this angel, which is going into Christ, don't provoke him. Because he's not going to forgive you. Because whatever I tell him to do, this is exactly what he's going to do to you. He's not going to pardon your transgression. So, if this angel that you see that's going to be protecting the children of Israel, that's what not provoke him. This is going into Christ, man. And this is the same thing like what Ak is going back into when we go into 1 Corinthians, man. He's not going to pardon your transgressions, man. So because the Most High God's name is in him. He already got straight instructions. So brothers can't bargain with him. He's not going to bargain. Go ahead, Ak.
That's right. Big, great scripture. Because it said, don't tempt Christ, man. He just told you, do not play with this angel, man. Don't make him mad. And we as a nation of people, we make the Most High God and Christ mad every day, man. We honestly want to do our own thing. We are led by our own understanding. That's a big part of the problem. We are led by our own understanding. Well, I'm just going to do it this way because this is what we done. And this is the reason why we are still in this captivity. Because we'll keep doing it the same way. Right? Change is better for the good. I say this every time. Change is better for the good, man. You need to change your life for the goodness of the Most High God. For the goodness of the nation, man. Right? You have to change, man. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 9.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 9.
Break it out.
Neither let us tempt Christ, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents.
Destroyed of serpents. Read on.
Verse 10. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured.
Because, man, we are a murmuring group of people, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I gotta be real, man. I bought a watch. The watch to go to your phone the other day. Same day I bought it, I lost it. Got out the truck. I guess I had it in my lap. And I can't lie, as much as I did not want to let that thing bother me, it did. And as much as I tried not to murmur by it, I still did, man. This is nothing. This watch can't compare to the things in the glory of the kingdom, man. And that was all on my mind because, you know, when we lose something, I just got it. No matter how you butt hurt, man. I'm talking about that was like, man, I just got this watch, man. Like, dang, man, I ain't even get to enjoy it. And as much as I tried not to let myself murmur and complain, I ended up doing it anyway, man. We are a group, a nation of murmurers and complainers, man. If our forefathers did it, you know damn well we did it, man. And you know we still doing it today. Any little thing, man. I had to check my spirit on that. I had to check myself on that, man.
Let me get a precept real quick.
Go ahead, Ak.
Let's go to the book of Philippians chapter 2, verse 14. Because even like Ak is going into, we constantly have to check our spirits on those things. Even when brothers and sisters murmuring, even in the congregation, like I say, murmuring, guess what? Eventually it's going to bring strife. It eventually brings contention. And eventually it brings problems.
That's right.
That's the same thing that our people did in here. The brothers and sisters know the ones that they murmur. They murmur all they breath, but then won't be a man or a woman and bring it to brothers and sisters' face like it says to do in the scriptures.
Because a lot of times, you know why brothers and sisters do that? Because they want to hide their sins.
That's right.
That's the main reason why brothers and sisters do that. They complain and murmur to a brother and sister that they think they can confide in you. But when it comes down to it, brothers and sisters' initial thought is to hide their sins. Because if they want to change, they'll bring forth their strong reason.
They come. It's the book of Philippians chapter 2, verse 14. Do all things without murmuring and disputing.
You know, some things are.
Do all things without murmurings and disputing.
So the scriptures is plain on that. Do all things without murmuring and disputings. Like you say, if orders is going out and it's in the scriptures, why murmur about it? If you do have a problem with it, guess what? Apply Matthew 18 and 15. Read on out.
Verse 15. That ye may be blameless and harmless.
Read that again, Ak.
That ye may be blameless and harmless.
Because when you murmur and don't bring solutions to the problems, you're being what? You're being harmless.
That's right.
You're bringing harm. You won't be blameless. Because the Most High God has the angel writing down everything that you thinking, everything that you are saying. You may have it in your thoughts. They know those things. Read on up.
That ye may be blameless and harmless. The sons of God.
The sons of who?
The sons of God.
Everybody's not a son of God, man. When you read the book of Romans chapter 9, read on.
Without rebuke.
Without what?
Without rebuke.
Read on now.
In the midst of a crooked and perverse nation.
So guess what? We do those things so we don't be, guess what? Without rebuke. Meaning you don't have to be corrected. Your brothers and sisters are staying in the spirit. Guess what? Handling those things according to the Bible, you will be without rebuke. You see the same ones. Can't deal with certain things. Constantly getting rebuked. We got to check those spirits because we see those things. Hey, it's getting closer and closer, brothers and sisters, man. We can't say that enough, man. Y'all see the things that's transpiring in the earth, man. Read on up.
Among whom ye shine, Shalaki, among whom ye shine as lights in the
Because
world.
the Most High God made us to be the light to shine in the world. We be the light by doing what? Keeping the commandments, according to Proverbs 6:23. Go ahead.
That's a great precept, man. Like you told it, you amongst the perverse nation, man.
Right.
You gotta stand out, and these are characteristics that we must take if we do make it to the wilderness, brothers and sisters. This class, man, is really for us to get our minds and our spirits ready, man. You can murmur under your breath all day long. The Most High God hear that. You can talk bad about your husband all day long. As soon as he turn around the corner and walk out the house, he might not hear. We can, but the Most High God hear that.
That's right.
You can go get in your car and call your wife all kind of B's and H's if you want to. She ain't here, but what? The Most High God is hearing that, man. You think everybody that murmured in the wilderness, they actually said it out of their mouth? Come on, think about it. When they were murmuring in the wilderness, you think all these were things that were actually said? Nah, some people thought they was one up in the Most High God. Well, I'm not gonna say it out loud. I'm just gonna think it. The Most High God say, Negro, who are you? I made you. I made you. I know what you thinking. I know your thoughts. Before you was in the womb, I knew what kind of Negro you was. Right? So we got to get our minds right for this thing, man. Getting ready for the second wilderness, man, you got to really be led by the Spirit of the Most High God to be able to entrap your mind, man, or to cut off the evil thinking and thoughts of your mind. We know the heart is desperately wicked, man. Your heart is your mind. You know your mind wicked, and sometimes you don't even try to say things; they just come up in your head. Forget that sister. F that sister. And you ain't even mean to say it. And then I dropped that. You know what I'm saying? Just out of nowhere in your mind. This in your mind. We better get our minds right, man. These are the times that we need to get our spirit in order for the second wilderness, man. Everybody didn't say it out of their mouth. It was thoughts, man. That's where the things happen. I always pull that scripture, man. In Proverbs, man. That's where everything started in your mind, man. Saying it or not. You say it, you think about it, and then guess what? You act on it. That's how it goes. 1 Corinthians 10:10 again.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured,
Uh-huh.
and were destroyed of the destroyer.
And were destroyed of the destroyer. Now we know ultimately that the destroyer, the number one destroyer, is the Most High God, right? But in this instance, they get an understanding of, because in 9 it lets you know, destroyed of the serpents. In 10 it said destroyed of the destroyer. Let's go to Psalm 17:4.
Also, just like thinking about the Most High and how the world, what do you call it? The Guinness Book of World Records. Guess who has the most kills out of all people in the world? The Most High God. He has more kills than anybody because guess what? Nobody can go through no level or chamber of life without going through the Most High God. Man. You got to come see him.
That's right. So, like we said, we want to touch on this destroyer because who is ultimately destroying this nation right now? But who is the corporate? That's right. Like we said, we know the Most High is the ultimate destroyer. But who is destroying this world right now? Who? Like I always say, who is killing trees for nothing? The other tree like, damn, you didn't have to do that. You did not have to do that tree like that, man. Know y'all got enough paper, man. Paper everywhere. She want to put a road right there and name it after a Jake that you done slain. You know what I'm saying? These are the things they do. But the ultimate destroyer is the Most High. But read this, 17 and 4 Psalms.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 17 and verse 4. Concerning the works of men.
Concerning the what?
The works of men.
Concerning the works of men. Read on.
By the word of thy lips, I have kept me from the paths of the destroyer.
He said, by the word of thy lips. Now, King David is praying to who? He's praying to the Most High God. He said, by the words of thy lips, by your law, statutes, and commandments, it has kept me from the destroyer. But remember, he said it from the top concerning the works of men. The works of men. Esau is destroying us, man. The works of men. What are the works they are put in on us, man? Like I said, homosexuality, man. Interracial marriage, man. Right? Not building a nation, man, but baby mama, baby daddy. The works of men. But King David said, by your lips, by your words, it has kept me from the destroyer. So we know this is going into what? The destroyer being what? Esau, the heathen nation, right? Let's get one more. Let's go to Jeremiah 4 and 7. Because these heathens, man, they are destroying this world day by day, man. With these doctrines and all this, man, they are destroying the world day by day, man.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
The lion is come up from his thicket,
Uh-huh.
and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
Read that again.
The lion is come up from his thicket,
Uh-huh.
and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
Now, this is going into Nebuchadnezzar, but we want to get the understanding. The destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. Read.
He is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate.
So he's giving an account of what the destroyer is doing. He's going forth. Read that again.
He is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate.
That the land of Israel be no more in remembrance, man. This destroyer is destroying us as a nation of people. We don't know who we are. We still are bringing ourselves up to the date that we are somehow, in some way, a color of a nation. We are black. We are two continents of a nation, African American. The destroyer has destroyed us in his entrance, man. That destroyer is the heathens, man. Right? He said he has come out, he has gone forth from his place, from his ways, because we know that heathen ways are crooked, man. They have never been straight. You can't make a thing clean that never was clean. Of an unclean thing, you cannot bring clean out of it, man. Right? He said it's made the land desolate, man. What is desolate, man? Without nothing. Kind of like
a wilderness.
A wilderness, man. Brother Donovan, pull up that definition for me. The word wilderness. I'm glad you said that. I was going to get it too. It's a wilderness, man. A wilderness, man. We are in a wilderness right now. We get this definition of wilderness, man. Go ahead, Al.
The definition of wilderness: a tract or region uncultivated.
Uncultivated, read on.
And uninhabited by human beings.
Uninhabited, man. We're not in habitation of this thing right now. This is uninhabited, man. It's another one, ain't it?
Yeah, an area essentially undisturbed by human activity, together with its naturally developed life community.
Read that one again.
An area essentially undisturbed by human activity, together with its naturally developed life community.
Man, this is a wilderness as well, man. Undisturbed, man. Desolation, man. Right? The rightful owners not in ownership. This is a wilderness, man. Right? So he said he made the land desolate, and the city shall be laid waste without an inhabitant, man. The same thing the definition just said, man. the city will be laid waste without an inhabitant, man.
And the Most High God compares us to lands. Like we say, it's uncultivated. On the spiritual level, us as a nation of people are what? We're uncultivated in God's laws. You know, green represents healthy, represents life. But deserts, a dry, thirsty place, we have to start to see the correlation and the spiritual side of those things. We in the wilderness as a nation of people.
Let's go to right quick. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 33 right quick in verse 28, because this goes into what Ark is talking about, man. Because if we know any purpose of the breakdown of the scriptures, it should help give us better understanding what Ark is going into. Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 28.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33 and verse 28.
Start verse 27.
Verse 27. Say thou thus unto them, thus said the Lord God, as I live, surely they that are in the waters shall fall by the sword.
33:27.
33:27. Ezekiel.
Yeah, Ezekiel 33:27.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 30.
Waste.
Waste. Salaki. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 27. Say thou thus unto them, thus said the Lord God, as I live, surely they that are in the waste shall fall by the sword, Salaki. And him that is in the open field
Read.
will I give to the beast to be devoured.
So this is how we live right now. We all in the open field. Guess what? We got open fields is going into a place where no protection is there. There's no protection for our nation. Who's here to protect? Who's here to protect us? Nobody, right? Except the Spirit of the Most High God, right? Read.
And they that be in the forts and in the caves shall die of the pestilence.
So everybody that thinking that they can run from this judgment that the Most High God got on us, and still gonna die of the pestilence, man. Right? Read.
Verse 28.
That's the point. Read.
For I will lay in the land most desolate.
He said he gonna lay in the most land desolate. Let's go into destruction, man. Read.
Salaki, for I will lay the land most desolate,
Read.
and the pomp of her strength shall cease.
And the pomp of her strength shall cease. This is going to the law, statutes, and the commandments that the Lord gave us, that a lot of the Christian churches teach us that we should follow. And this is how they can be lay a nation of people desolate, take our morals and our laws away, right? Read.
And the mountains of Israel shall be desolate,
Uh-huh.
that none shall pass through.
So this is how our frame of mind think now. We don't have no law, statutes, and commandments. All the Christian pastors and churches say we don't have any laws. So we don't have any laws, then what do we go by? You think your spirit, without you raised up wild as hell in the streets, and all of a sudden your spirit is enough for you to get to where you gonna go in the next life, which is going once the spirit leaves your body. You got to give account for those things, man. So you got to prepare yourself for what? For the next coming of the next stage of your spirit's life, right? This is how a frame of mind got to be thinking, man. So, but this is going to also once you go back and reread it ties straight into what you read.
Read verse 29.
Read on.
Verse 29. Then shall they know that I am the Lord, when I have laid the land most desolate, because of all their abominations which they have committed.
And like we say, it's our doings, man. Right? We know that the heathen, we know that Esau has a big part to do with it, but it's mostly, we gotta look at our doings, right? We always know that the other nations, the heathens, man, they done did this, they done did that, but then what have we did? What have we not did? Right? So it's definitely mainly because of us murmuring. So 1 Corinthians 10 and 10, I'm going to read it. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. So we know that we were destroyed of the destroyer in this instance of the heathen nation, man. But let's go get some of that murmuring, man. Let's go to Exodus 16. Start at verse 2.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 2.
Bring it out.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel.
Nah, just some of them.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel.
The whole congregation, man. The whole congregation. So our brothers and sisters sitting in here right now talking about, nah, I ain't gonna do no complaining. The whole congregation, man. No, but like we say, we got to be real. We got to be truthful, man. The whole congregation. Read on.
Murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
They murmured against Moses and Aaron. Read on.
And the children of Israel said unto them,
Uh-huh.
would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots.
Yeah, we had been on this kind of course, and we'd have stayed in Egypt, man, flesh pots going into that comfortable life. They thought that was comfortable life they were living in, being in servitude. Guess what? We think that America is comfortable life today.
That's right.
Negroes got them a pretty little decent job. Oh, he making $21 an hour. He think he good. Negro, you supposed to be owning that. You ain't supposed to be working, making that check. You supposed to be writing out the checks. And that's if you want to pay him something. But Esau, I'll pay you with lashes. How many do you want? That's okay, boy. Yeah, what's going on?
And let me, just like my father, he died a couple of years ago at the age of 85. So when say for instance, like what he say, like when Martin Luther King was trying to fight for us to be equality with them, and then we couldn't go on, all of a sudden we couldn't go in the kitchens, because a lot of times, like our people go in the kitchen, we get free food and everything. So guess what? When they stopped going to the kitchens and stuff like that, they were like, man, this dude just messing everything up. We can't go back there to the kitchens or nothing no more, man.
Uh-huh.
So what do you want us to go in here so we could die? All these things was level of things that we had to go to get to this point so we can know who we are today, man.
That's right.
But a lot of us, we want to stick in the same frame of mindset, and then here we go. Oh, man, he just took upon me so we could die. No, it's levels to this stuff, man. That's why Ark is breaking down wilderness after wilderness, because it's levels to this thing that we must have to go through to get to the point that the Most High God that got it's gold tried in the fire, man. Right? Go ahead.
Read verse 3 again, out.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 3. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots.
When we sat by the comfortable life. That's what that flesh pots mean, man. Read on.
And when we did eat bread to the full.
We ate bread to the fullness. Talking about big croissants. You know what I'm saying? Big potato bread, man. We had all the bread, man. Sweet bread. Our bread sweet to a homo, but sweet bread. You know what I'm saying? What you want? You want the cinnamon roll? What you want, huh? You want the pecan roll? Which one you want? We ate good in Egypt. That's what they were saying. That's what we're saying right now in America. Just because a Negro get a decent little job and a decent little car and maybe a decent house, we don't want to leave America. It's going to be people complaining in the second wilderness the same rate. The same way. Damn, I had a truck. We in the wilderness walking. The last time I ain't got no socks on. Got puncture wounds on my heel. My baby toe is gone. I hit that on a tree the other day. We'll be complaining in the second wilderness, man. We don't want to leave America. A lot of us, we loving America right now, man. Come on, man. Let's just be real about it. We loving the ways of this kingdom, man. We think that we are actually doing something. Oh, my God. They put Obama in president. They did that to show you Negroes that guess what? We got another way to keep you Negroes down. Because he ain't even one of y'all. He's an African. But just because his skin tone look like y'all gonna think that y'all doing something in America right now.
And he the only president that passed a gay law.
That's right. Yeah, I seen Trump the other day. He said I did more for the so-called black man than any president. I think he did, because at least he told the damn truth. That's what we need. That's what we've been missing. It's truth, man. Right after that, he said, yeah, the room is kind of black. It's kind of dark. I said, this nigga crazy. He said, I can't see out there because it's black out there. Yeah, I know what you mean. However, we need that truth, man. Right? We need that, man. But it said we ate good in Egypt. I mean, he said we ate bread of the full, not partiality. This wasn't that bread that we had to chop off the mold. No. Full bread. Now the children take off the ends of the bread. Mama said, boy, you better eat that. We had the fullness of the bread. Read on.
For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
So the children of Israel murmured and said, what, you brought us to the wilderness to kill us with hunger? Is that what you're doing? Is that why y'all brought us here? Not getting understanding, yes, some of y'all will love the hunger and die by that, man. Some of y'all will miss Esau being your master. Esau telling you, good morning, Bob, how you doing? Missing that handshake from the so-called white man, right? But they thinking this, oh, the Lord, he gonna kill us with hunger, man. But this instance, if you keep reading down, he provided what? Quails and manna for us, man. Right? It might not have been what you wanted, but you never went on, just like growing up, man. I didn't eat everything I wanted, but look at me. I never went hungry. I didn't have what I wanted all the time, but I never went to bed hungry, man. It's what the Most High God does for us, man. He will never leave you nor forsake you, man. But we can constantly murmur about the things that we don't have, man, and complain about, right? Let's get another instance, man. Numbers 11 and 1. Murmuring and complaining, brothers and sisters. We have to stop doing that, man. We have to, man.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 11 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
And when the people complained,
people did what?
And when the people complained,
what did it do?
It displeased the Lord.
Complaining displeases the Lord. Remember, 1 Corinthians said, man, you don't want to do that now. You was either destroyed by serpents or the destroyer. But who did you piss off? You pissed off the Most High. You pissed off Christ. It pissed off the Most High God for us to complain, man. When he gave us everything, man. When he gave you bodies, man, life, breath, eye, vision. Right? It pissed him off, man. Read on.
And the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled.
And his anger was kindled, man. Like I always say, you can piss off a lot of people, but you don't want to piss off the Most High. You can make your boss mad, and you can make your children mad. You can piss off a lot of people, but you don't want to kindle the anger of the Most High God, man. Not the Creator, right? Read on.
And the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp.
And it said the fire of the Lord consumed them, man. His anger, man. That's why he consumed them in the wilderness, man. Because they were complainers, man. They were murmurers, man. And when you were complaining and murmuring, what are you doing? You are sinning. What's the precept, brother? Complaining and murmuring, man. I like Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:47, man. If you murmuring and complaining, are you joyful this? Are you enjoying? Are you glad? Hell no, I'm not glad about this situation. I want the bread. I want all of it. When you are murmuring and complaining, you are in sin, man. Go ahead,
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 47.
Bring it out.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart,
Uh-huh.
for the abundance of all things.
For the abundance of all things, man. When you complain and murmur, you don't have joy in your heart for what's going on, right? Because you did not serve the Lord with God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Oh, and we've been serving them. And we've been serving them pretty damn good, too. Therefore shall you serve your enemies. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee
Uh-huh.
in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
In want of all things, man. Read on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And get destroyed by the destroyer, man. And that yoke of iron is still upon our necks, man. So for us complaining and murmuring, guess what? We are now serving our enemies. We got to go to them for every single thing that we want, man.
And we have to address this because, like Christians or brothers and sisters in Christianity, they think that this only happened 2 times, in 586 BC and in 70 AD. But each time we break the commandments, these are reoccurring curses. Each time we break these things, we go into the curse. We went into these curses up under minor captivities. And sure enough, make 7 major captivities. So these are reoccurring.
That's right. These are reoccurring curses. Man, matter of fact, let's get that precept right quick.
It's like 1619, 1492. Bring it up all the way today. That's how we can identify who we are today.
Let's go to Ecclesiastes, man.
Just like I can say in the verse, Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder and upon thy seed forever.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a forever occurrence. This thing never going away. We break God's laws, we go right back into captivity. We break God's laws again. This happens over and over and over again.
That's right. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, man. These things are reoccurring and they're gonna keep happening, man. It's a cycle, man. It's a cycle. It's like we say, brothers come in this truth and brothers leave out the truth. What kind of door is it? A revolving door, man. That means that thing keep turning. Keep turning. Next brother leave, next brother come in, next sister leave, next sister come in, man. It's the same thing, man. Read this.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9.
Bring it out.
The thing that had been, it is that which shall be.
Uh-huh.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
Uh-huh.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
It said the thing that is being, it is that which shall be, man. These things will keep reoccurring. Like I said, they think it's just 2 occasions. Nah, this is occurring right now, man. Right? Joyfulness and gladness of heart, if you don't have that, you are still going to serve your enemies, man. Right? And want of all things, man. Read 10.
Verse 10. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new?
Is it anything that's new? No, it's not. These things keep recurring, right? Like we said, that revolving door, it keep coming back and forth. But a lot of times, and we always bring this up, brothers and sisters don't believe the report. Well, we done seen it. We done seen it the 8, 9, 10 years, the 4, 5, 6 years in the truth, man. But brothers and sisters don't believe the report. Is it a new thing? Read on.
It had been already of old time.
It has been already of old time, man. And this is also going into the wilderness, man. It's not going to be new. The same way we murmured and complained in the first wilderness and the Most High God knocked us out for 40 years until that new generation came, is the same thing you're going to do in the second wilderness, man. It ain't new. It has already been, man. Let's go back. Let's go to Exodus 17 and 1.
Finish that out. Which was before us.
Which was before us. It was before us, man. The wilderness was here, and it's going to come back again. So, for murmuring and complaining, you are basically in sin because you're not serving the Lord with joyfulness and gladness of heart. Let's see what the Most High God called the wilderness, man. Exodus 17 and 1.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin.
What did he call it?
The wilderness of
He
sin.
called it the wilderness of sin. Nothing but sin going on around this place, man. He called the wilderness of sin, man. Because all this murmuring and complaining, like we said, that is sin to the Most High God, man. If you are not serving the Lord with joyfulness and gladness of heart, you're sinning, man. When you're murmuring and complaining, you're not joyous about what you're going through at that point. When I lost my watch and I started murmuring, I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't. Wasn't nothing about me saying, oh, this is okay. I was like, this is some BS. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I just bought the damn watch today, lost it tonight. Like, this is crazy. I told my wife, I said, I don't think I ever did no ass like this. I said, maybe 2 or 3 days, but the same day. And honestly, she knew that. She didn't even say nothing to me because she knew I was mad. Like, she knew that I was going to be going off, man. But I got to check my spirit on it. I got to build that up. Like I said, we got to understand who we are, man. No, you're not yourself, man. Because in the wilderness, I'll be damned if I do that, man. I mean, damn if the Most High give me a piece of bread and I don't want that bread and I say and complain about it. Come on, man. we gotta check our spirits.
Boy, and I'm glad I said that, man, because brothers and sisters have to, especially you brothers and sisters that got to have it your way like Burger King.
Hey,
It's not gonna be that way. Like we say, brothers and sisters, y'all, like we always say, y'all don't have fear now because we don't hold no real power. But when brothers and sisters see brothers and sisters get killed out there, that posture gonna straighten up. Them thoughts gonna straighten up. Most High God literally have to put fear in us, man, because we
That's
don't
right.
have that fear right now, man.
that's right.
Let's go to right quick. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 3. Because like I was saying, a lot of brothers and sisters really don't have fear on them, man.
That's right.
But you think that the Most High God didn't see you just because no brother or sister seen you. The Most High God always got to watch, man. Read that off.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 3.
Read.
The eyes of the Lord are in every
He
place.
said it's in every place. You can't go nowhere that the Lord didn't see nothing that you did. You can't hide it from him, man. Read.
Beholding the evil and the good.
Guess what? Whether you do evil or good, he's still going to see it. There's no hiding. Guess what? The Most High God tell you to stay in order with your husband. Guess what happened? And you go and you're not in order with him. You think the Lord didn't see you? I don't care if you go in the next room. You can go 10 miles away, 100 miles away. When you're not in order, you just was not in order. When brothers, guess what? They do something out of order with the Most High God. Guess what? By breaking his laws, you think the Most High God didn't see it? He seen you. Brothers and sisters might not see you. It's just a matter of time. But when it be brought to the forefront, guess what? It's going to be dealt with, man.
That's right.
Go ahead, up.
Big time, man. Let's go back and read that Exodus 17 and 1. Finish that out. Because he called the wilderness of sin, man. The wilderness of sin. That's why he had to try us them 40 years, man, to knock off that sin, man. Right?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin after their journeys, according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink.
And there was no water for the people to drink. We already know. Moses had to what? Strike the rock for them, right? We complained about the bread. We complained about the water. We complained about every little thing, man. And that's crazy because the Most High God said what? In Proverbs 66, he said, I hate a proud look, man. We were some proud Negroes in the wilderness. You proud in the wilderness. You proud enough to say that you'd rather go back into captivity? Most High, it ruffled his feathers, man. I know it did, man. Because we do that shit today. Just think about it, Keenan. Your children come to you, you done took care of them all that, then they come and say, you ain't did nothing for me. Negro, I raised you, what? I put the food on your back. I had you a house. I had a roof over your head, man. Just put it to today's perspective, man. For your children to come say something to you like that, we are the Most High God's children, man. For us to do that to him, I know that what? Grinded his gears, man. Right?
Let me get a precept real quick, Al.
Go ahead.
Go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse 2. Because even like Ak is going into, these things are the proof people. Like right now, we being put on trial right now. Type of spirit that you got. Now, go ahead, Al.
It's coming up.
What's the spirit, man?
I already know it's in the spirit. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 1. Start at 1.
Mm-hmm.
All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live.
That ye may what?
That ye may live.
So when we not keeping the commandments, we're spiritually dead. Read on.
And multiply.
And what?
And multiply.
Read on.
And go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers.
Read on.
And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness.
In the what?
In the wilderness.
Read on.
To humble thee. And to prove thee.
Read on.
To know what was in thine heart.
Read on.
Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
So the Most High God is doing that even today, putting us on trial to see.
That's right.
I'm going to put this particular situation up to see if you're going to persevere and push through to come to the Sabbath class, or you're going to give an excuse. I ought to put an excuse out there that I heard last week. I ain't gonna put sister on blast though. So y'all already know it's on this side. But like we say, even the tribe, brothers and sisters, like we say, we got to persevere through this thing, man. Not make excuses. Because like we say, what you gonna do when you get out there? You gonna make excuses in front of Christ? You think you gonna out talk and out slick the person that gave us game?
That's right.
No, man.
No,
Go ahead,
you're going to die in front of Christ.
That's right. That's what you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna do. And 8 and 1, man, this is a sum up of the wilderness, man. That you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord swore unto your fathers. He swore to us that land, right? But because of the murmurs and complainers, a lot of them didn't get to that land, man. A lot of them didn't. Them 40 years, like he said, I had to try them and prove them and see if they were gonna keep the commandments, man. Them 40 years, man. Right? That's the sum of a lot of the class, really, man. It's a good precept about Ezekiel 20. Let's get into this, man. 40 years, man. 40 years, man. That's crazy. We're gonna get why we went into the wilderness 40 years too. It's a reason why the Most High gave us understanding on that, man. Ezekiel chapter 20, start at verse 4.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
Wilt thou judge them, son of man? Wilt thou judge them? Cause them to know the abomination of their fathers.
So this is what the wilderness is for. It's causing us to understand the wickedness of our forefathers, where our forefathers went off at, right? The murmuring and the complaining, not serving the Lord with joyness of heart. It says, so the man prophesied, thus said the Lord, says, Shalaki, my bad, my page turned, brothers. I'm sorry. Wilt thou judge them, son of man? Wilt thou judge them, causing them to know the abomination of their fathers? That's what the wilderness is about, man. Causing us to remember the sin and iniquity of our forefathers, man. That we don't go into the same sins and do the same things. Read.
Verse 5. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, in the day when I chose Israel, and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob, and made myself known unto them in the land of Egypt.
So how did he make himself known unto us? His works, his miracles, his wonders, man. The pestilence, man, the frogs, man, the locusts, the darkness, man, the parting of the Red Sea. He made himself known unto us, man.
And the major one, the killing of the firstborn.
That's right, man. That's the major one, man. So the Most High had to show us who he really was, man. He had to show us what we was really about to start serving, man. A true, wonderful, magnified God, man. He had to show us that, man. Right? Read on.
When I lifted up mine hand unto them, saying, I am the Lord your God.
Showing possession, man. Read on.
In the day that I lifted up my hand unto them, to bring them forth of the land of Egypt, into a land that I had espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands.
Which is the glory of all lands, man. The Most High God was happy to give us the land flowing with milk and honey, man. But he was not about to give us and everybody this land that wasn't ready to go into this land, man.
Like I say, it's no coincidence that's why all the major wars are out here. They fighting for that land. See the Palestinians, you see the Israelis, the fake Jewish people, they coveted that land. Like I say, it don't belong to now one of their behinds, man. Right. And they all gonna have to get blown from here to kingdom come out of that land. Like you say, if you God's chosen people, why you having gay parades over there? Why you got, like we say here, you got kosher cigarettes? What the hell is that? I mean, just straight kosher pork. I mean, straight madness. But y'all, the children of God, I mean,
stop it, man. Right? They don't put no thing between the clean and unclean.
For real,
man.
no difference.
No difference, man. Read on.
Verse 7. Then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes.
Of his what?
Of his eyes.
Because like you said, where does it start, man? It's what you see. It's in your mind. It's what you see. You see the goodness of America, right? That's what we think. We see the money. We see the cars. We see the S550s, man. Right? We see the big trucks, the dualies, man. We see that. But he said, cast away the abomination of the eyes, man. What the song say? What you see is what you get. Nah. What we seeing right now is some wickedness, man. But we are trying to get the kingdom, man. What we're seeing right now is wicked, abominable things that won't prevail us to making it to the kingdom, man. So he said, every man the abomination of his eyes, we know.
And defile not yourselves with the idols of Egypt.
Uh-huh.
I am the Lord your God.
So we know this is some more things, man, that we got to deal with. The seeing of the eyes. Wanting everything that we see, right? Coveting.
Covetousness.
Yeah, say that word for me right quick.
Covetousness.
Yeah, that word. With everything, man, that we see. The want of the eyes, man. Everything that you want is not good for you, man.
And remember, brothers and sisters, this is spiritual Egypt.
That's right.
According to Revelations 11:8. This is spiritual Egypt. The same way they had us in captivity back then is the same way they had us in captivity now. The same way they got to celebrate many different idols, going into these religions, we do it today over here in America.
So we see we have the abomination of the eyes, we have murmuring, and we have complaining, right? These are the things that defile us, man, that the Most High gonna knock off in the wilderness, man. Make sure y'all put these things down and make sure that you work on yourselves with that, man. The abomination of the eyes, murmuring, and complaining, man. That's what we there so far with. What else? And the idols, man. All these things played a part. Which is what? Sin. That's why he called it the wilderness of sin. He had to knock off that sin off us, man. These are things that we have to incorporate to make sure that our run and our trial in the wilderness, man, is successful, man. Bring it out.
Go to Proverbs chapter 4. I know I pulled this a lot of times, man. Brothers and sisters should have this thing highlighted a couple times, probably. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. Let me pull this a lot of times. Because a lot of times people can't deal with it. A lot of times people's spirits be so high up to the point they don't like to deal with themselves. They like to deal with everybody else but themselves, man. So we got to learn to start shaking the spirit that's in us, man. Humble ourselves down, really get a good understanding. So brothers and sisters can really make it to that second wilderness, right? Read this out.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23.
Read.
Keep thy heart with all diligence.
He said, keep your heart with all diligence, man. Make sure you stay grounded in the Lord's word, man. Read.
For out of it are the issues of life.
So the heart is going into your mind. This is what the issue of life that we have. Everything that we have an issue with comes out of our mind, man. It starts right in our mind, man. Guess what? We can let it manifest to go do the wicked side, or we can let it grow to do the good side, man. We have a choice according to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 19. Good and evil. What did it say?
Life and death.
Life and death. We have those choices, man. But it starts right here, man. And a lot of times, guess what? That's why when you see brothers, we have to deal with certain brothers and sisters in the congregation, man. Because what? The issue starts here. If you fix it right here, you don't have to go back. You don't have to come to the congregation. Right? Go ahead.
Let me read on down. Verse 24. Put away from thee a froward mouth, and perverse lips put far from thee. Like we say, it starts in your mind and it goes through your lips. Verse 25. Let thine eyes look right on, meaning stand on a straight path, and let thy eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy words be established. Salaki, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. All these things, guess what? It's put you on a path to, guess what? Check your spirit, check your mind, check your thoughts, check your mouth, and more importantly, check what? Your acts, straight and narrow path. Go ahead,
Become, man, like you said, let thy eyes look right on. But it told us, man, he said the abomination of the eyes, man. Your eyes looking straight on is what? Pressing toward the mark, man. Having your eyes set on the kingdom, man. Not having your eyes set on this next million that you're trying to make, or this next 100,000 that you're trying to get, or this next car, right? These are the abomination of the eyes that he was saying. that defiled us, man. Read verse 8. Ezekiel 20, go back to 20. Hold your markers up, we're going to be there. Go on and put your little bookmark right there, and we're going to be here for a while.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 8.
Bring it out.
But they rebelled against me.
But we did what?
But they rebelled against me.
All the mighty works, all the miracles, and the wonders that our Father did, our Maker did for us, we still rebelled against the Father, man. That's why you gotta tame your spirit daily, man. You gotta grow in this thing daily, man. They saw these miracles, y'all. And we see miracles today too. But they actually saw the parting of the Red Sea. Damn it, they went through it. They actually went through it, man. And they still rebelled against the Father, man. They saw it. Letting us know, man, we are still rebelling today. Every time we lean on our own understanding and we go into this Christianity worship, Muslim, atheist, whatever the case may be, man. We are rebelling, man. He said, but they rebelled against me. Read on.
And will not hearken unto me.
I won't understand that they are a special seed, that they are chosen, man. Read.
They did not, every man cast away the abominations of their eyes.
So it says, down the straight and narrow with your eyes, but they did not cast away the abomination of the eyes. Read.
Neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt.
Uh-huh.
Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt.
So he said, for that I was going to pour out my fury, my anger against them in the land of Egypt. Read on.
Y'all have to see this thing in the spirit too. Is this
real.
talking about ancient Egypt? This talking about modern day Egypt over here.
That's right.
Verse 9. But I walk for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen.
Because he could have knocked us out, man. He could have killed the whole nation, man. Right? But he said, I walk for my name's sake, man, not to be polluted in front of the heathen. Hell, I just showed great wonders in front of the heathen to come in here and kill all y'all off. The Most High said, nah, I ain't going to do that. I'll praise to the Father. Because he definitely could. But he said, I'm not going to pollute it in front of the heathen when I just showed these miracles and wonders in front of them. To show them how I chose y'all to be my chosen people, man. Right? Read 9 again, man.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 9. But I wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen, among whom they were, in whose sight let me start over from the top. But I wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen, among whom they were, in whose sight I made myself known unto them, in bringing them forth out of the land of Egypt.
That's right. So whenever time brothers and Christians love to pull that, he said without boasting. This is why he said without boasting. Because it was his will that he didn't knock us out, man. It was his will that he kept us going enough to say, well, guess what? I'm not going to kill them in front of the heathen, the same heathen that I just showed my wonderful works and power, right? He said, I did this for the children of Israel in front of the heathen, man. I could have killed them out, but he didn't. Read on.
Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt, and brought them into the wilderness.
And brought them where?
And brought them into the wilderness.
And brought them into the wilderness, man. Because of our sins, he said he brought us into the wilderness. Read on.
And I gave them my statutes, and showed them my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them.
So he said he gave us his statutes and his judgments, man, to live by. Like I brought up that Deuteronomy 30 and 19, man, all day, man. He said, I gave them my statutes and my judgments, how a man should live, man, and how they should live by. Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes.
But we rebelled against the Father in the wilderness, man, and walked not in his statutes. Read on.
And they despised my judgments.
And they despised the judgments. What else?
Which, if a man do, he shall even live in them. And my Sabbaths they greatly polluted.
Read that again.
And my Sabbaths they greatly polluted.
We polluted the Sabbath of the Father, man. The Sabbath is a big deal too, brothers and sisters. The Lord is the Lord of Sabbath, man.
That's right.
We have to make sure that we respect his Sabbath day and we keep it holy and to the utmost part, man. He let us know, man, they polluted the Sabbath, man. They didn't want to do it. They didn't keep in the wilderness. They weren't worried about the Sabbath no more. That's a problem, man. Right after the Most High showed His work.
And guess what? It's still going on right now. This is the modern day wilderness. This is a spiritual wilderness over here today.
That's right.
And what we doing? We polluting the Most High God's Sabbath. Our people go to church on Sunday when the Bible tell you in the book of Exodus to go what? On Saturday. I mean, that's plain as day.
Read on.
Verse 12. Moreover, I gave them my Sabbaths to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord that sanctified them. Verse 13. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes, and they despised my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. And my Sabbaths they greatly polluted.
So we polluted the Sabbaths of the Most High God. Read on.
Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness, to consume them.
To what?
To consume them.
To consume them, man. Drop to 15.
Verse 15. Yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands.
So he said, yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I had given them. The Most High had already destinated this land for us, man. But he said I was not going to, this same land that he swear by giving us to is the same land that he swear by not giving it to some, right? Like we read in Esdras, man. The world was made for many, but the world to come for few, man. And this is why he had to do this, man, right?
We've seen an example of that, even with Moses. Moses didn't make it to the wilderness. Brothers and sisters literally poured him out the Spirit, man.
That's right, man.
Poured a mighty, meek, and humble brother out the Spirit, man. I'm talking about stopped him from making it to the wilderness, man.
For sure, for sure. But Moses was content and still charged Joshua, man. Moses could have been butthurt and all, man. But he still charged Joshua and told him, man, this in your hands, man.
That's right.
Take the keys and drive it the way I was driving it before I went out, man.
Let's give an account of it. They go to Joshua chapter 24, verse 14, right? Because it's going like you say, one and the same. And he was trying to, even now to this day, he keep trying to tell us the same thing. But guess what? A lot of us, we refuse to hearken to the Most High God, man. Right? Joshua chapter 24, verse 14, right quick, right?
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 24 and verse 14.
Read.
Now therefore, fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity.
So this is what we're supposed to be doing. Serving the Lord in sincerity and what else?
And in truth.
That means keeping God's law, man. Read.
And put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood.
Read.
And in Egypt.
Uh-huh.
And serve ye the Lord.
So this is the Lord telling us to do, to serve him, right? Read.
And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord.
So the Lord said, telling our people, if it seem evil for you to serve me, read.
Choose you this day whom you will serve.
He said, choose you this day who you going to serve, man. He giving us an option, man. Because a lot of our people, we don't, guess what? We like options. The Lord giving us an option. Right? Read.
Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood.
So you want to serve the gods that they served on the other side of the flood? Read.
Or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell.
He said, guess what? You want to serve the gods of the Amorites that you're dwelling in right now? Read on.
But as for me and my house,
just read on.
We will serve the Lord.
He said, we're going to serve the Lord. Read on.
And the people answered and said,
what the people say,
God forbid.
They said, God forbid. Read.
That we should forsake the Lord to serve other gods.
But guess what the children of Israel did?
Serve the Lord and serve other gods.
And guess what? We got this same attitude right now. We get filled with the Holy Ghost and be filled with the Spirit. And go, a lot of our people go right in the churches and come right out of the church. And I'm going to guess what? I knew a girl said this stuff all the time. I go smoke with my church member. What the hell are you talking about, sister? Don't have no Spirit of the Lord on them, man.
That's right.
Because all this tambourine playing and all this good music playing, but guess what? What a word that though.
That's right.
Not our own words, but what God's word said though. And this is what our people get better to realize. Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that too, because I was just going to say this, man. That's true. Brothers and sisters coming out of Christianity, it's hard to come in here and get a 2-hour, 2.5-hour class of straight scriptures, man. Because in that church, you had a little tambourine playing, you had a little talking, announcements. You want to talk about the sister that got the hat on in the front while she's saying the announcements. the organ play for about 5 or 10 minutes straight to warm up the pastor to come on, and then he get up there and shuck and jive. And you ain't getting no word. It's hard for brothers and sisters to come into this truth, man, and actually learn something, man. Because you were not learning in the church, man. You weren't required. I say this all the time. I was not required to take my Bible to church. Whether I had my Bible or not, I was okay in church. I didn't have to have it.
Because if they did listen to this, if all the preachers and pastors listen to this one precept, Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7, for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. Why are they not teaching the law? These people call themselves preachers and pastors. Why are they not seeking the law? It's clearly saying it. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. That's what the message comes from God, from the Most High God.
For real, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, we had to change our ways. And we look at our forefathers, what they did. They rebelled. They didn't want to keep the Sabbath. They wanted to do their own thing. They complained about not having the food that they wanted. They wanted that big, juicy steak. Going into the wilderness, yeah, we're going to be complaining about not having a steak. Whatever the Most High God give us, we need to be content with it, man. That's what my class Monday was, man. Be content with what the Most High God give you, man. Not complacent, but content, man. Right?
But just look at the name, wilderness. Why would you think you're going to get this big, glorious life in the wilderness?
It's to try you. We just read Deuteronomy. It was to prove you, to try you. And that's what it's going to be again, man. Let's go back to Ezekiel 20 and read 15. Exodus 20 and 15. Because the Lord swore by it to give us this land, but he also swore by it not to give it to this wicked generation that the men of war that came, right, that were older, basically. And we got to get that account, man, because the older generation, boy, they gonna lie to you, man. It's wonderful to see sisters like Sister Mariah, man, and Brother Book and Kingdom and Brother, you know what I'm saying, of older descent, man, that actually consented to the word of God, man. Because it's hard to teach old dog new tricks, man. Nah, I can't teach that old dog new trick. Roll over, bark, roof. I said roll over, rule. Yeah, that's the only trick he knows.
He barking.
He barking. I said roll over. I don't want that new John, not that new trick. But read this out.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness.
So he lifted up his hand into the wilderness, remember now.
That I would not bring them into the land which I had given them,
Uh-huh.
flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands.
And he said it again, it's the glory of all lands. But he said, I lifted up my hand, the same land that I swear by to give to the children of Israel is the same land I swear by not to give to some of them. Not all of them, but some of them, right? Let's go to Numbers 14. Start at 23. Numbers 14. Well, you can start at 22.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 22.
Uh-huh.
Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times,
Uh-huh.
and have not hearkened to my voice.
So this is the reason why he had to send us into the wilderness 40 years. Because these same men which seen his glory, man, they seen the miracles, man, that he did. These were the same men that he had to knock off in the wilderness, man. Right? Read on.
Verse 23. Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers.
So just like the Lord swore to give us the land, he also swore by it to this generation, this older generation, not to see the land, right? He swore by it to give to us, but he also swore in 22, he said, guess what? They not going to see it. Not some of them. Read 22 again.
Verse 22. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times,
Uh-huh.
and have not hearkened to my voice.
Read on.
Surely they shall not see the land.
They shall not see the land. The land that I swore by to the children of Israel, these are not going to see it. Like I said, I always remember the preachers, man, and Edris was asking them, man, well, it's not going to be a lot. He said, yeah, the world was made for many, but what? The new world will come for a few. I swear by to give them this land, but it ain't going to be all of them that make it, man. Read on.
Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it.
Read that again.
Neither shall any of them that provoke me make see it.
Nobody provoking the Most High God is going to see.
That's right.
The promised land, man. Right? The first Exodus, everybody didn't get to see the land flowing with milk and honey. The second Exodus, everybody's not going to see the land flowing with milk and honey, man. Anybody that provokes the Most High God, man, you're not going to see the promised land, man. And he swore by us to see it. But not for everybody, man. Read on.
Verse 24. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him.
Caleb had another spirit with him, no. He didn't have that spirit of what? Witchcraft, of going off, of rebellion, of murmuring. Caleb had another spirit on him, man.
Right.
Read.
But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and had followed me fully.
He did what?
Had followed me fully.
He followed the Most High God fully. We better start looking up Caleb and seeing what Caleb was doing, man. And trying to build your life around what Caleb was doing. And one thing we see Caleb did is he did what? He followed the Most High fully, man. He said, but Caleb, my servant, oh yeah, he gonna see it. Read on.
Him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it.
And his seed shall possess it, man. So it wasn't for everybody to see, man. Drop down to verse 30.
Verse 30. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land.
Read that again.
Doubtless ye shall not come into the land.
Brothers and sisters, we can't have doubt in this truth, man. If you got doubt that this may not be the right thing for you, but then guess what? You might need to jump out the door right now. Because doubting this truth, you're not going to make it anyway, man. That's like being lukewarm, man. That's having doubt in the Maker, the Creator, the Father, the Most High. He said you won't make it doubtless, man. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land. Read on.
Doubtless ye shall not come into the land, concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh.
It says save Caleb. So the Most High said you're not going into this land with doubt, man. You're not. So when you get into that second wilderness and we start complaining and murmuring and having doubt that the Father brought us here, you brought us here to kill us in the wilderness now. I brought you here to try you. But that doubt, you're not going to make it.
Verse 27.
Oh.
Verse 27. How long shall I bear with this evil congregation,
Read on.
which murmur against me?
So the Most High God called us an evil congregation that murmurs against him, right? Read.
I have heard the murmurings of the children of
So
Israel.
it's talking about the children of Israel. This is not talking about no other nation, right?
That's right.
Read.
Which they murmur against me.
So because of all these complaints, man, we was complaining, we were complaining. Then guess what we doing? We still complaining. Still have a problem with God's law, man. Our people still got a problem with what God tell us to do, right? Read.
Verse 28. Say unto them,
Uh-huh.
as truly as I live, saith the Lord.
Lord said, it's just like your mama said, well, as long as I live. That's how the Lord talking to us, man. Read.
As ye have spoken in mine ears,
Uh-huh.
so will I do to you.
So the Lord said, same thing you spoken in my ear, that's what I'm going to do to you. You said, if you told you want me to kill the nation, no, I'm going to destroy you. Because we complained and we murmured. He gave us a task, he gave us a job, and a lot of us, we don't want to do that job. We take on the Lord's job as if like one of the brews told you, yeah, hey, could you go over here? No. The Lord gave us a mission, man, and a lot of us, we don't fulfill our mission because we want to do our own will, man, not God's will.
That's right. Let's go back to Ezekiel.
Hold on, let me read verse 29. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward,
Glad you read that.
which have murmured against me.
So like I said, the older generation, y'all see that, man. That's why the Most High said, you got to come as a little child.
That's right.
He He said these men of war, 20 years up and old, they know what's going on. They have understanding. They saw my miracles, yet they still had doubt and didn't believe in me, man. He said I had to put 40 years. We gotta go there. Go to Numbers 13 right quick. Jump over page. Numbers 13 and 1.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 13 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man.
So this is the land that the Most High was going to give us. And he said, send the spies. He told them to send spies to that land. Right? Read on.
Every man one a ruler among them. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Israel.
So he sent 12. Basically, he sent 12 spies, right, from each tribe. Jump over to verse 25.
And if you notice, he said all these men were heads. These wasn't no men that didn't have understanding. They was the heads of the tribe.
That's right. Because that's right. So they were head. They were valor, men of valor, right? Read verse 25.
Verse 25. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days.
How long? How many days did they search the land?
After 40 days.
They searched the land 40 days. Remember that. Those spies went into the land of Canaan and searched the land for how many days?
40 days.
Now let's jump over to verse 14 and read verse 33.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 33.
Bring it out.
And your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years.
How long?
40 years. And bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness.
It says, so your children go wander in the wilderness 40 years and bear your carcasses, man, of the whoredoms. Because we went off a whore, man. When you go into serving other idols and other gods, you are a whore. Right? Read on.
After the number of days in which ye searched the land.
Read that again.
After the number of days in which ye searched the land.
So why did we go into the wilderness 40 years? 40 days. So what? A year for a day. Right? So we went into the wilderness 40 years because he sent those 12 spies to the land of Canaan for 40 days. Everything, 40 is like completion with the Most High God. It's a number. Everything is calculated with the Most High God. So for the 40 days that the spies searched out the land of Canaan, we was going to get a year for a day. Let's read that though. Read on.
After the number of the days in which he searched the land, even 40 days, each day for a year.
Read that again.
Each day for a year.
So you see that? So you see everything is calculated with the Most High God, man. We went into the wilderness 40 years, each day for a year that the spies searched out the land of Canaan. A day for a year. So everything has meaning, man, right? Read on.
Shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise.
Now what is a breach, man? What is a breach? The Lord swore by it, right? But he said, you're going to understand my breach and why some of you Negroes ain't going to make it to the kingdom, man. Right? That's why I say, the Lord tell us not to swear by anything, but who the only one that can, why? Why can't we swear by anything? We gonna lie. We some lying. Yeah, I'm going to be over there at 4:30. I know I done told King, hey, brother, I'll be there about 4, King, and I call you, man. I ain't called King at all, man. Lying like I wasn't trying to. But I definitely don't want to swear by that thing, right? But the Most High God swear by it. Why? Because you damn right he going to make sure on that thing, man. That's why he can swear by it. That's why I want to name the class the Lord swear by it. The same way he swear by to give us the land for him, big honey, is the same way he swear by and say, I'm going to try you Negroes in the wilderness because some of y'all ain't going to make it. He swear by it. Was he lying? Shoot. Knocked them off, man. He said they carcasses going to be consumed in the wilderness, man. Right? Let's go back to Ezekiel, man. So y'all see that. That's the 40 days that the spies went. I just want to show that. It's the reason why we went into the wilderness for 40 years. He gave us a day for a year. Read verse 15 again, 17.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 17.
Bring it out.
Nevertheless, mine eye spared them from destroying them.
Read that again.
Nevertheless, mine eye spared them from destroying them.
Uh-huh.
Neither did I make an end of them in the wilderness.
But the Most High still spared us, man. And he didn't make an end of us like he could have. He could have made a full end of the children of Israel, man, right? But he said, my eyes, I spared them. All praises to the Most High God for that spare, man. Right? Read on.
Verse 18. But I said unto their children...
Hold on, my bad. Jump to verse 22.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 22. Nevertheless, I withdrew mine hand and wrought for my name's sake.
And what?
And wrought for my name's sake.
So once again, like you said, when he tell us not to brag and boast, it's because it's his will. He worked for his name's sake. Read on.
That it should not be polluted in the sight of the heathen, in whose sight I brought them forth.
Because like I said, he had just showed his power to us in front of the heathen, right? So he was like, I'm not going to kill them and pollute them in front of the heathen when I just showed my power to the heathen, right? So I'll praise to the Father for that, man. These are things we got to look at, man. And pray on and thank the Father for these things, man. This one account right here gave us a little hope, a little life, man.
That's the reason why when you see, that's the spirit of old. A lot of our old people, that was the spirit of old. They didn't get you right in front of everybody. They waited till you got home.
Mm-hmm.
And they told you butt up told. They got you, but they explained to you. It's the same way the Most High God was doing. So he said, no, I ain't going to take y'all up in front of everybody. I'm going to wait till we get home. Then I'm gonna tell you what up, and I'm gonna explain to you what you did wrong, man. That's how that's how a father's supposed to do it. That's how a mother's supposed to do it, man. Right?
That's right, man. Big con. Let's go to Joshua chapter 5. We're gonna come back to Ezekiel. Let's go to Joshua chapter 5 right quick. I just went into Joshua Wednesday, man. Right? Yeah, it was. You know what I'm saying? We get a little more understanding to it. Go to the next chapter. This is after Jericho. Let me get it out.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 5 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when all the king of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan, westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel until we were passed over, that their heart melted, neither was their spirit in them any more because of the children of Israel.
So they didn't have no more fight in them, man, because of the read on.
Verse 2. At that time the Lord said unto Joshua, make these sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time.
He said, read that again.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 5, verse 2. At that time the Lord said unto Joshua, make these sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time.
So what kind of circumcision is this? This is physical. This is physical. He's telling Joshua to circumcise the children of Israel the second time. The second time. Why? Read on.
Verse 3. And Joshua made him sharp knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the heel of the foreskin. And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise.
I like to say, man, this why. You want to know? You want to hear? Here you go. Here you go. Let's see.
All the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war.
All the men of what?
All the men of war
Read on.
Died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt.
So the Most High, when he tried us in the 40 years of the wilderness, those brothers died off, right? The men of war, right? And the older men, 20 and up, right? But guess what we was doing in the wilderness? We were still multiplying. That's right. So Joshua had to circumcise this new generation that was going to go to the promised land, right?
That's right.
Read that again.
Verse 5. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way, as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised.
So they had not been circumcised. This new generation that the Most High was saying, y'all go get to see the promised land, not these older men that was tripping. They had to be circumcised again. That's why he said circumcised on the second time. Because the children that were in the wilderness, that were born in the wilderness, they had to be circumcised. This was the nation, this was the generation that was actually going to be able to see the land, right? Read on.
Verse 6. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness.
How long?
40 years in the wilderness.
44 days. 40 years. 40.
Till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed.
So the Most High did that to consume all them older, wicked Negroes, man. For real, man. All the men that went to war, that had understanding of the miracles that the Most High God did, that seen the miracles and still rebelled, the Most High had to. So 40 years was really getting into another generation, man, basically. Knocking off the sinful generation in the wilderness of sin and getting the new generation to come ready for the land flowing with milk and honey. Because he couldn't put wickedness in the land flowing with milk and honey. Why does that make sense? Can you put new wine in old bottles?
That's right.
You get that? What you say? I know you
just about to say that.
All praise. So you can't put new wine in old bottles, man. So he couldn't have that wickedness going into the land flowing with milk and honey. This is the glory of the land. We read that in Ezekiel. He said this land was the glory of all the lands. You think I'm going to have pollution in this land? No, we had to knock something off, man.
And guess what? And while he's circumcising them, their foreskins, what else he's circumcising?
That's right.
Their hearts. Let's go to Jeremiah 4:4 right quick.
And that's exactly right. So like I said, when Jeremiah was physically, and that's why I asked y'all, what was it? It was physical circumcision, but like I said, it also, when you're going into knocking off that old sin and getting ready for that new generation, that's the true circumcision right there.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 4. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord.
So this is what Joshua was doing. He was circumcising to the Lord. Guess what? Physically, right? Read.
And take away the foreskins of your heart.
But we also got to take away the foreskins of our heart too. It's not just a man's penis got to be. No, it's got to be. We got to be circumcised of your heart too. Because guess what? The intentions might be still there. We got to. Guess what? We get rid of the bad skin in the body, but we get rid of the bad skin in your mind too. Right? Read.
Ye men of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem,
I was doing this so try read.
Lest my fury come forth like fire, and burn that none can quench,
Read.
Because of the evil of your doings.
So guess what? Why he separating the foreskin of a man's penis, but he also had to separate the foreskin of a man's heart too. He had to, because the wickedness was still there, man. Right? Go ahead,
Because I'm glad I went there, because you're right. You know, Christians will love to try, oh yeah, foreskin. Or even Israel won't get the true understanding of that. Circumcision is actual circumcision of the male, the penis, right? But true circumcision is circumcision of your heart and your mind. I mean, from turning from your wicked ways, getting circumcised into what? The trueness of the Most High God's will, man, or the law. That's what true circumcision is, right? That's what we want to give brothers and sisters to understand that, man. So I'm glad I went there, man, and went to show. Because, like, he was physically circumcising, but he also was spiritually circumcising them as well. Let's go back to Ezekiel 20 and 25.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 25.
Bring it out.
Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good.
What?
That were not good.
Hold up. The Most High gave them statutes that were not good.
And judgments whereby they should not live.
He said he gave, hold on, that's a problem. Hold on. We got to deal with that. The Most High said that he gave them statutes that were not good. What is that going into? Did he actually give them statutes that were not good? Like we tell brothers and sisters, how many choices you got? You got two. You got life and death. That's it. You got the commandments or you got curses. Right? But let's get an understanding on that, because he said I gave them statutes that were not good and judgments whereby they should not live. Go on and read 26 and then we'll put a precept.
Verse 26, and I polluted them in their own gifts.
He said what?
And I polluted them in their own gifts.
So that's really going into what 25 is saying. That the statutes that he gave us that was not good was the pollution of our own minds, leaning on our own understanding. You have a choice. The Most High put you in this world. It's called, like I said, the wheat and the tares. He's letting you see, are you going to be able to keep performing in this captivity, or will you get conformed by this captivity, right?
Because we seen that we was the greatest nation on the planet. Then we get fully set in our mind like, dang, we don't need God.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we do. We don't need God's laws no more because we are the best. The Lord made us the greatest one. No. This is how we become, this is how we stay great, man.
That's right. That's right. Give me, read 26.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 26. And I polluted them in their own gifts.
In their own gifts, man. Read on.
In that they caused to pass through the fire all that openeth the womb, that I might make them desolate, to the end they might know that I am the Lord.
So he did this for a reason. But 25, wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good. Did he really give us statutes that were not good? I just want to touch that. Go to, we already know, y'all should have this priesthood. Go to Proverbs, chapter 4. Because people will read these things, and me, I know, before I had spiritual understanding, I would read this, and I'll be like, hold on. Is there a contradiction? No. 25 and 26 really, 26 evaluates 25 and showing them what he gave them. He gave them, you got opportunity. Read this.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 2. For I give you good doctrine.
What kind of doctrine did he give us?
Good doctrine.
So when he said I gave them also statutes that were not good, that means that that's what you perceived. You saw the wickedness and thought that it was good. But I gave you good doctrine. Don't get it twisted. The Most High gave us good doctrine. He gave us law, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law.
He said, don't forsake me, the law, man, that I gave you, right? Because I gave you good doctrine, man. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 19. We've been talking about it all day. Let's go to it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 19.
Bring it out.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing.
So he's saying I put before you good and evil, but you got to choose which one. It's your choice. I give you a choice, but I give you only two. People love to say it's my life, I can live it how I want to live it. Now, you can, but the way you live your life is going to equal up to everlasting life or a lake of fire. That's how you're going to live it up to. You got two choices of where you're going to live. You're going to either do what you want to do and go to the lake of fire, or you're going to do what the Most High God commanded and try to get to the kingdom. Man. That's the only two choices you got. Read on.
Therefore choose life.
He said, do what?
Therefore choose life.
And he gave you, like he said, he told you which way to go. We always say it's an open book test with this thing. He told you the way to go. Choose life. Choose the commandments. Read on.
That both thou and thy seed may live.
That both thou and thy seed may live. So this is not only to help you, but it's also to help the next generation. The next generation of children that we're trying to bring into this thing. Like the Most High God did, right? He had to kill off that old generation to get to the next generation. Let's go to Esther, man, 3 and 8. Most High said he gave us good doctrine, man.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad, and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. And their laws are diverse from all people.
So their laws are diverse from all people. He gave us good doctrine. But these are the other doctrines that he showed us, the heathen. He put the heathen around about us, right? And that's what he was showing us, the good and the evil, right? Both sides of the thing. Which one are you going to choose? Read on.
Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
So we had our own laws, man. And the Most High God gave us good doctrine. But when he showed that, he said he gave you doctrine, doctrine. Let's go back to Ezekiel. I don't want to butcher. Ezekiel 30, 20 and 30, and 20, 26, 25.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 25. Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good, and judgments whereby they should not live.
So those statutes that were not good were the statutes of the heathen, man. The ways of the world. He showed us that. He showed you both sides, man. But he told you in Deuteronomy 30 and 19 to what? Choose my statutes. Choose the good doctrine that I gave you, that I showed you, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 32. It's a well-known precept, man. (32 and 7).
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
Remember the days of old.
Uh-huh.
Consider the years of many generations.
That's why we have to consider the years of these generations. The generation that he knocked off, we got to remember the days of old, the first wilderness. Because the second wilderness is going to come right behind that thing, man. But we got to remember the right and the wrong of our forefathers, man. Right? We got to remember what Caleb did, which was follow the Most High God fully, and remember what all the other men of valor and the men of war did 25 years up. That was what? Murmuring and complaining, going against the Father. Read on.
Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee.
So our fathers, how we asking our fathers? We asking our forefathers through the scriptures. We looking, we seeing the 5 books of Moses. We seeing it, right? We asking our forefathers right now. We actually are seeing that because we are asking our forefathers. It's not literally our father. Hell, our father don't know. They don't know nothing either. Hell, our mom, they didn't know nothing. But we're asking our forefathers. We're going to the scriptures with this thing, right? Let's go to Numbers 32 and 10. I forgot to pull this. This give a little more insight. Numbers 32 and 10.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 32 and verse 10.
Bring it out.
And the Lord's anger was kindled the same time, and he sware, saying, surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham.
So like you said, the Lord swore by it. He said, surely none of the men that were 20 years of age or older shall see the land, man. Read on.
Which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not rawly followed me.
Read on.
Save Caleb.
Save what?
Save Caleb.
Save Caleb, man. Remember, he said Caleb. Him and his seed gonna make it though. Read on.
Save Caleb, the son of John Putney, the Kenizzite, Salakia, and Joshua, the son of Nun. But they have wholly followed the Lord.
For they have wholly followed the Lord. They wholly followed the Father, man. That's what we have to do. We have to fully and wholly follow the Father, man, to make it to the kingdom. Read on.
Verse 13, and the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed.
So y'all see why he had to do it? He had to do it the 40 years to knock off that generation, man. That whole generation, he had to knock that generation off. Read on.
Verse 14, and behold, ye are risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men, to augment yet the fierce anger of the Lord towards Israel.
So you are risen up in your father's stead, man. This new generation. It's us, man. He put it on us, man. And we got to get our next generation right, and they got to do the same thing, man. Right? Read 15.
Verse 15. For if ye turn away from after him, he will yet again lead them in the wilderness.
Read that again.
For if ye turn away from after him.
So if we turn away and do the same thing our forefathers did, except for Caleb and Joshua, then he go what?
He will yet again lead them in the wilderness.
Second wilderness. He gonna lead your bus and consume me in that same wilderness again. Just like he did that old that generation 40 years, he'll do the same thing to us, man, to knock us out, man. To try us and to prove us. Read on.
And ye shall destroy all this people.
And you shall destroy all this people, man. We're trying to destroy the doctrine of these people, man. Some of these people are just not fit for the kingdom, man. Some of these people just not gonna go. They just, when I talk to people, man, bro, I got partners, man, that I be like, bro, I know it's not fit for you, man. I just know it ain't, man. Tell the brother he is like, nigga say he want to fight you. Well, my brother say, go ahead, bro. We got to kill off that generation. We got to kill off the people ourselves with the truth, man.
And seeing that all the nations, who the most rebellious nation of the planet, man? Come on, man. Why do you think we on the bottom? We is the most rebellious nation on the planet. Why you think 90% of the population of the jailhouse is us?
That's right.
The blacks and Hispanics, because we the most rebellious nation of the world, man. And a lot of our people can't see it. The same group of people that rebelled against God from that time is the same people now. But you got to be spiritual to correlate those things. And guess what? Be diligent in the scripture to read those things, right?
That's right.
Go ahead, man.
That's something now.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's go to 2 Ezra 5 and 42. Because he said, Salaki. Verse 15 and 32, he said, for if you turn away from after him, he will yet again leave thee in the wilderness, man. This thing gonna keep on going, man. But they say, if you want to leave, go ahead. 1 month ain't gonna stop the show, man. Most High God gonna knock you out, man. He gonna keep doing that until he get the things right that he need be, man. 2 Ezra 5 and 42. Matter of fact, start at 40 out.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 40. Then said he unto me, like as thou canst do none of these things that I have spoken of, even so canst thou not find out my judgment, or in the end the love that I have promised unto my people.
So once again, Ezra is talking to the angels. The angel said, you're not going to really understand the love that I have for my people, man. Right? Read on.
Verse 41. And I said, behold, O Lord, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved till the end.
He said, but art thou nigh to them that are reserved to the end? That number that's going to make that number that you have, that few. We said, aren't you nigh to them though? Read on.
And what shall they do that have been before me? Or we that be now, or they that shall come after us?
He said, so what shall we do? Ezra is trying to get an understanding. What's going to happen to them that come after, those that are now, or even those that were before? What? I need to get some understanding. What did he say?
Verse 42, and he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring.
He will do what?
I will liken my judgment unto a ring.
What is a ring shaped like? So what that means, it's going to keep coming around. His judgment, he said, my judgment is going to be like a ring. Like the first wilderness, I'm going to do the same thing to these wicked Negroes in the second wilderness. Like we said, that revolving door. The Negroes come in, Negroes go out. Sisters go come in, sisters go come out, man. He said, I liken my judgment to a ring, man. They're just trying to get the understanding of what's going to come after. The same thing. It's the same thing. Read on.
And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. Like as there is no slackness of the last.
He said like there was no slackness of the last, because the Lord wasn't slack. When he had us in that wilderness for 40 years, was he slack? Nah, the Lord wasn't slack, man. Read on.
Even so, there is no swiftness of the first.
And he said there's no swiftness of the first. Meaning it's coming right on time. I'm not rushing it. I'm not waiting on it, but it's coming right on time. That first wilderness, they're going to get the same judgment in the second wilderness, man. He said, I liken my judgment to a ring. Let's go to Ezekiel 20 and 33. So you see how the second witness gonna come just like the first, man. Like we said, Ecclesiastes 1:9, Ecclesiastes 3:15. No new thing under the sun, man. It's gonna come back around. So I liken my judgment to a ring, man. Ezekiel chapter 20. Let's go to 33.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 33.
Bring it out.
As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people.
Read that again.
And I will bring you out from the people.
So he going to have to try us again. Read on.
And will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
So when we go to the second witness, we gonna get all the that was scattered, man. From the four corners of the earth, we gonna be in this one place right in the wilderness. I'm gonna bring you out, man, from where I scattered you, man. Read on.
With a mighty hand.
With a what?
With a mighty hand. And with a stretched out arm.
With a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm. What is this mighty hand and stretched out arm? It's Christ, man. Let's get Deuteronomy 26 and 8. Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26 and verse 8. And the Lord brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand.
So the same way he did in the first Exodus, he said he's going to bring us out with a mighty hand again, man. Right? Read on.
And with that stretched out arm. And with great terribleness. And with signs. And with wonders.
So it's going to be the same thing. The signs and the wonder and the wonders that he had to do. And terribleness, man. I mean, he's going to knock off a lot of us, man. Like I said, man, you're going to see heads rolling. You're going to get your mind right in the wilderness then, I bet. See that head roll, man. See a whole body, a half body fly by you. You know what I'm saying? You get your mind right then.
But seeing that the judgment of the first wilderness, if any brother and sister remember, he kept children of Israel, they were safe. And he was putting plagues on Egypt, man, for us.
That's right.
And he was showing his sign. And guess what? When we came out of Egypt at the time, we still didn't respect it. All the plagues that he put upon Egypt, we still didn't respect what the Lord did, man. Mm-hmm. Because we have fully set in our heart to do what we want to do instead of us doing what God tells us to do, man.
That's right.
Because we got a problem with his judgment. We got a problem with his laws. A lot of Christian pastors right now still got a problem with his laws, man.
They do.
And just what we fall by those things too, man. Go ahead,
let's go to Psalm 89. Like you said, with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, man. So we know that he was using Christ then, gonna use Christ now, man. Right? We know he gonna send the King of Kings back, man. Psalm 89 and verse 13.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 89 and verse 13. Thou hast a mighty arm, strong is thy hand, and high is thy right hand.
So the Most High said, have a mighty arm. And he said, strong is thy right hand, man. That's Christ, right? Read on.
Verse 14, justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face.
So he's saying judgment and justice is in my right hand, right? He said justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne, man. Because who is the throne given to? Right. That's right. And he said, and mercy and truth shall go before thy face, man. So this is his strong, his mighty hand. Christ is who he uses. Let's get Isaiah 53 and 1. Let's get an understanding of that, man. He said with a mighty hand, stretched out arm, man.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 53 and verse 1. Who had believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? Mm-hmm. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He had no form, nor comeliness. And when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
So 34 say you were scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. This is going into Christ. He's going to bring Christ back, man, to bring this judgment, man, upon this world and upon what? Our wicked busting his witness. We don't get right for the second time, man. Go back to Ezekiel 20 and 35.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. How does the Lord plead? Isaiah 66, let's get it, man. See how the Lord go plead with us, man. Face to face, man.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire.
With what?
With fire.
Go ahead.
And with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Read on.
For by fire and by his sword.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord what?
Will the Lord plead with all flesh.
Oh, you say he gonna plead with us face to face, man. Face to face. Like we said, y'all think it's a game? We talking about heads gonna be rolling, man. You gonna get your butt in line, man. Or you gonna have that next head rolling off, man. He said by fire and by his sword, man, the Lord will plead with us, man. Back in Ezekiel 35, he said, I will plead with them face to face, man. You go see the terminus and the greatness of our God, man. You go see the terminus of the King of Kings, man, of my shot, man. You have to, man. Let's go back to Ezekiel.
Let me finish reading 16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh.
With what flesh?
With all flesh.
With all flesh. Read on.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Read that again.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
Shall be many, man. Remember, we always go back to 2 Ezra 8. What did he say? The world was made for many, but the world to come for few. That slain, that many, that he go out to knock off of many of people we know. 1/3, man, of our people won't make it, right? We already know this, man. 1/3 of our people will make it, man. Slack it.
These are end-time prophecies that Isaiah is going through. I'm going to read verse 17.
Go ahead.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one's tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh.
Doing what?
Eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So even doing this, Isaiah was warning us in time prophecies that guess what? Trying to pull Acts chapter 10 to justify you eating unclean foods? No. He's literally telling you that guess what? You will be put to death if you find breaking the dietary law.
That's right.
It is what it is. This is an end time prophecy. This hadn't happened yet. Christ ain't came back.
Let's go back to Ezekiel 20. Read it out. 35. 20 and 35.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
Said, like I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness, man, in Egypt, man, right? First Exodus. Read on.
So will I plead with you, saith the Lord.
So he said the second wilderness is going to be the same way, man. Read on.
Verse 37, I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
The bond of the covenant, man. The bond, man, of the covenant. We're going to get this thing right, man.
Let me get another precept for verse 35. Verse 35 again from the top, and I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, saith the Lord God. So even like how Ak is going through, we're going to see Christ face to face. We're going to see the piercings, see the marks in his hand. And Christ is going to be there to do what? Correct us and give us the correct understanding. It's a precept. Let's go to the book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 14. Because many of them prophesied about these things going into the second wilderness. So this is going into the chronology of the order of salvation. Brothers will be called up to the chariots. Brothers and sisters called up to the chariots. World War III destruction. Then we'll be beholding those things. Then he'll bring us down back in the wilderness. And we're going to get some precepts on those things. This is the book of Hosea.
I read it. It's the book of Hosea, chapter 2, verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her.
So we know that Hosea was prophesying about the northern tribe. It says, therefore, I will allure her, meaning what? Gather us up and bring her into the wilderness. Just the same thing we just read in the book of Ezekiel. It says, and speak comfortably unto her, meaning what? Giving us the commandments, giving us the correct understanding, giving us the true understanding. Read on up.
Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her.
Read on.
And I will give her her vineyards from thence.
From thence, meaning the things that were promised to us in old times, those vineyards. Meaning what? A great understanding of the scriptures. Vineyards go into spiritually and physically. That land is going to be replenished. All those things are going to be back to paradise level. Read on.
And the valley of Achor for a door of hope.
Uh-huh.
And she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth.
Man, we're going to be celebrating, giving all praises and honor to the Most High God, man. Read on.
As in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt.
So we know that this is not talking about past Egypt. This is talking about what Captain Yara is going into, the second wilderness. Go ahead, Al.
Big con on that, man. So like he said, and I will bring them in 37, I will cause you to pass under the rod and will bring you into the bond of the covenant, man. Meaning, like I said, we're going to get the true understanding, the bond of the covenant. But we're going to get everything understood to us in that day, man, where we was going right at, where we was going wrong at, right? To the bond of the covenant, man, bringing it together and getting a true understanding of that thing. Read 38, 20 and 38, Ezekiel.
Let me put a precept on that covenant.
All right.
Real quick. Let's
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Y'all already know. Hebrews 8 and 8, man. Let's see if the covenant is for all people, man. You know we have to touch on that thing, man. Let's see if it's for all nations or is it for a specific nation. This is that bond of covenant that is going into.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 8. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
Read on.
And with the house of Judah.
And with the other nations.
And with the house of Judah.
So he's very specific on who that covenant is for. It's for the house of Judah, southern tribe, and the house of Israel, northern tribe. Read on out.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers.
Not according to the old covenant, sacrificial law. Read on out.
In the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they committed the shalaki, because they continued not in my covenant.
Meaning we weren't keeping that covenant according to the law. Read on out.
And I regarded them not.
And the Most High God didn't regard us. Read on.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days.
After those days. This is going into the same thing Ak is bringing out in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 35 on down. Read on.
Said the Lord.
Hold on, because we got to make sure that we touch this. Because if you notice what he said in verse 8, he said with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Now in verse 10, he said the house of Israel only, because in Ezekiel chapter 37, it took one stick, it took two sticks and made one stick.
That's
so
right.
we're one nation. So when we get to this level, we go back to one nation again.
That's right.
Right?
Big God. Verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind.
Then, during that new covenant, we're going to be programmed automatically to, guess what? Keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. They're going to be seared in our mind, seared in our spirit. Read on up.
And write them in their hearts.
And they're going to be written in our hearts and our minds. Read on.
And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
And that's when we'll be in the bond of the covenant. Go ahead, Up.
Verse 11. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. Big con on that, man. So that's going into the bond of the covenant. Like you said, I'll praise it.
Let me get another real quick.
Let's get it.
There's going to be no more teaching. We already know God's laws, statutes, and commandments going to be in us then. Right?
That's right.
Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 6, because he was even prophesying about it during this time. What Ak was bringing out.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 6. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
That thou mayest what?
That thou mayest live.
This is letting you know that this is going into end time prophecies. Read on, Ak.
Verse 7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
Read that again, Ak.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
So has this happened yet? No, this has not happened. It's going to come a point in the end time where guess what? The other nations going to go through these curses too.
Because
Read on, Ak.
and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee.
The part that we want is 6 and 7. 7 is going into the same thing we read in what Hebrews 8 and 8 on down. How he's going to circumcise us, meaning what? We're automatically going to be programmed to know God's commandments from birth. Verse 8, 7 is going into, we know it's in the end time because these curses are going to be on the other nations. Esau, Moab, and all the other ones. Go ahead, Ak.
Verse 8, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord.
All praise.
So we'll return, like you said, to the bond of the covenant, man.
That's right.
Return to what that one stick, like I was bringing out. Good precepts, Ak, man. Appreciate y'all. Let's go back to 20 and 38. Of Ezekiel, Shalaki.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 38.
Bring it out.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
So purge is not really saying kill. It is, but it's also saying getting away the bad. Purge means taking away what's not good. The things that are hindering you, man. He said, I will purge out from among you the rebels. Because what is a rebel? Somebody going against the cause. Going against what we're doing. That's a rebel. Somebody that don't want to keep the commandments. You are a rebel when you don't want to keep these commandments.
And bro, I'm glad that I put it that way. Brothers and sisters have to examine themselves even in the congregation. Are you going against the grain? Are you going against what the Most High God is trying to set up for us as a congregation? Brothers and sisters have to feel that thing in their spirit. Are you going contrary to what the masses, the congregation is doing? Check your spirit, man, and get these things back in line, get back on track.
God. So he said, I will purge out from among you the rebels. You got something?
Yeah, because like I said, that's a pivotal sight, man. How you think the Lord bless us with things, man? How do we get blessed? We get blessings. Why? Because we obedience.
That's right.
When we get the whole congregation in obedience, guess what? We can get more and more blessings. But if we got to constantly keep going through things over, he's not going to bless what is giving the example the whole class, man. Saying on how we rebel over and over again. Should we still accept blessing for God? This is something our mindset have to be thinking, man.
God.
Oh, yeah.
So he said, and I will purge out from among you the rebels, man. A rebel is somebody going against this word, man, against the will, man. Remember, first he told us to avoid them anyway, man. A rebel is somebody that's not going contrary to the doctrine that's going contrary to the doctrine that we've received, man. Right? So he said he's going to have to come and purge them out and weed out the wheat. Like I said, I always say this is going to what the wheat and the tares. When he say he's purging, that means he's getting the wheat out the way, getting the tares out the way so that the wheat can prosper. Right? Read 38.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn. And they shall not enter into the land of Israel.
Man, this is the same thing he did in the first wilderness. He swore by it. He swore by to give them that land with milk and honey, but he said, I'm not going to let the ones that are not justified go to the land, man. Brothers and sisters, you putting this work in, and it all be for naught. Y'all either, man, we better get on your game, man. Why would you half-ass this work, man? And then when it come down, you still get purged out for putting in a half-ass result, get a half-ass result, man. He said, I'm gonna purge them out, man. Some of us are putting half the effort in, man, and you gonna get that out of it, man.
Because that's the same thing 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 23 saying. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as the iniquity of idolatry. This is going into the same thing. Rebellion is when you go into rebellion, that's witchcraft. That's idolatry to the Most High God, man. And this is what He's trying to get us to see, man. Go ahead, right?
So, like I said, you make it to the wilderness only to get purged out. I mean, we got to strengthen ourselves up, Israel, man. You got to think about what is good for the body and what's not good for the body, man. What's good for you making it to the kingdom, and what you got to purge off from yourself, man. Because you would rather purge off, like the Bible says. Colossians 3 and 5. Mortify the members, Colossians 3 and 5. Mortify the members that won't do good for you to make it to the kingdom. You would rather purge off your arm, hell, if it was tripping, rather than the Most High purge you out, right? You rather purge off your nose, man. Just have a big gap right there, right?
That's the same. This is the same thing Christ was saying. He said, if your hand offend thee, cut it off. If your eye offend thee, that's what you think this is going into. The things that we must purge off, man,
That's right.
to make it to the kingdom, man.
That's right. So we got to make sure that we do the purging before the Lord do the purging, right?
That's right.
We better purge ourselves, man. And knock off that old man, knock off that attitude, knock off that not being submissive to your husband, knock off that murmuring and complaining under your breath when somebody say something, that evil eye when somebody don't do what you thought they should have did. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Knock off them damn feelings, man, and emotions, man. Sisters, we know y'all on weaker vessel. Knock them damn feelings off. Gird up your skirts, man. Why y'all think we say that? We don't just tell the brothers to gird up their loins. Gird up your skirts too, sister. You got to knock them feelings off, man. We do, man. Or you going to get knocked off in the wilderness, man. Like we said, you'd rather purge yourself rather than the Most High purge you, man. Read 38 out.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. And I will bring them forth out of the countries where they sojourn. And they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord.
So just like he did the first, he go do the second. Let's go to Ezekiel 34 and 25. We got like 2-3 more scriptures we get out. Ezekiel 34 and 25.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and verse 25. And I will make with them a covenant of peace.
A what?
A covenant of peace.
So going into what? When you get into that new bond, read on.
And will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land.
And cause the evil beast, knowing that guess what? Some of our own people are beasts, right? Cause these brute beasts, man, to cease out of the land, man, those that are not good. That's the purging that he gonna do. Read on.
And they that dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods.
Because, man, look, you know, normally you got to have you a 10 or something, you know what I'm saying? But he say those that dwell safely in the woods, man. Those that dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. That sleep is going into what? Peace, man. We'll finally get that peace, man. Right? Those that sleep in the woods, man. You know, we go to tabernacles, man, supposed to get, what, 2-3 hours of sleep, man? Talking about you sleeping in the woods, man, you ain't worried about a thing, man. Right? Grasshoppers jumping right over you. You know what I'm saying? Crickets, you know what I'm saying? You tell them to shut up, they shut their mouth, man. You said sleep in the woods, man. Let's sleep in the wilderness, man. That's that peace that he gonna give us at that time, man. Read through 25 again.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34, verse 25. And I will make with them a covenant of peace.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
that peace that he talks about. Read on.
And will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land.
Uh-huh.
And they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods.
And sleep in the woods without a problem, man. Knowing that he done knocked off and purged out those that were not good for us, man, right? Read 26.
Verse 26. And I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing.
A what?
A blessing.
A blessing, man. Read on.
And will cause the shower to come down in his season. There shall be showers of blessing.
There shall be what?
Showers of blessing.
Come on, man. We want them showers of blessings, man. Come on, man. We've been for so long getting showers of curses, man. Let's change the narrative and get showers of blessings, man. Right? That's what we want, man. We want him to purge off the wicked, man. We want to get this thing right. We want to be refined, man. As that pure gold, man.
And a lot of us just looking on how Moses was. A lot of our spirits so jacked up to the point, looking at how Moses was. Moses was so meek with the Most High God. He knew he wasn't going to make it to the promised land, but guess what he did? He still kept the charge because guess what? His nation was going to make it, man.
That's right.
And this is how we supposed to be thinking right now, man. And if your heart ain't ready for that, man, guess what? Some people, you just might not be fit to go to the kingdom, man. It might not be for you, man. Right?
Come.
Go ahead.
Sure.
3 verse 27.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. And the tree of the field shall yield her fruit. What is this going into? This is going into Israel. Us yielding our fruit every month, going into what? Revelation chapter 22, verse 1 on down. It says, and the tree of the field is going into what? The world, according to
That's
Matthew.
Right.
Shall yield her fruit. That's going into wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, keeping the commandments. And the earth shall yield her increase, meaning everything is going to get back in order when the Israelites is back in order.
Because
you see the fruits clustering bigger and bigger. You see the air cleaned up. Seeing the seas and the rivers all cleaned up. Literally. It says, the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am the Lord when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them. Meaning what? When we are putting all nations in submission. Go ahead, Doc.
Become. I'm glad you read that. Let's go to Jeremiah 32. Start at 36.
And when he was talking about breaking the bands, that's going into Psalms chapter 2 and verse 3, man. Because we had a what you call it, going into the pineal gland. We had a direct line to the Most High, man. But through, guess what? Breaking his laws, guess what? That line went away. The spiritual understanding went away. Let's go to Psalm chapter 2. Just read on down. Really, verse 3 is the kicker. Go ahead.
Jeremiah 32 and 36.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32 and verse 36. And now, therefore, thus said the Lord, the God of Israel, concerning this city, whereof ye say, it shall be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon, by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence.
Read on.
Behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whither I have driven them in mine anger, and in my fury, and in great wrath, and will bring them again into this place, and will cause them to dwell safely.
So the Most High always tells us to remember Egypt, right? Because this is the same thing that's been happening. We know that Egypt is going into what? Captivities, man. So he's saying, remember your captivities, man. Because the same way these things happen, he said, behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whither I have driven them in mine anger. Man, he scattered us in his anger, right? The same way from the Babylon to 70 AD to the transatlantic slave trade. He did the same thing, man, because of Egypt, man, because of our captivities. Read on.
Verse 38, and they shall be my people. And I will
read 37 again.
Verse 37, behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whether I have driven them in mine anger.
So he said he will gather us. Read on.
And in my fury, and in great wrath, and will bring them again unto this place.
And will bring them again unto this place, man. Again, read on.
And I will cause them to dwell safely.
So going into, guess what? Just like we said, the scriptures have twofold. I will bring them again into this wilderness, the same place I did. When I brought them out of Egypt, when I bring them out of what? The four corners where he scattered us, he's going to bring us again to get tried and to get refined, right?
Let me get a precept real quick, God.
Go ahead.
Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 27 and verse 12. That's why precept must be upon precept. You can read the Bible as a history book, but to get the deeper understandings that the Bible is the Most High God is trying to give to you, you must go precept upon precept. or you really won't understand it in today's time. You get there, read that out.
Isaiah chapter 27, verse 12. And it shall come to pass in that day.
In that day, going into end time prophecies or eschatology in Christianity lingo. Read on.
That the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt.
Meaning what? Beating off the doctrines, beating off the philosophies that, guess what? Spiritual Egypt, America has given us. When you see Egypt all the time in the Bible, it's not literally talking about Egypt all the time. Read on.
Shall beat off from the channel of the river of the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel.
Because will we literally gather one by one during out of the time of Egypt? No. But we're going to be gathered one by one in those chariots in that day, man. Read on.
Verse 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown.
That the what?
The great trumpet shall be blown.
What is that great trumpet? That sound of the alarm that, guess what? Christ was warning us about in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, where he told the angels to do what? Gather my elect, those that have made a covenant with me. Read on out.
And they shall come, which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria.
In the land of who?
In the land of Assyria.
Now, people may think this is talking about Assyria, but no, this is a similitude for Egypt being America, and sometimes Assyria is referred to America. Read on out.
And the outcasts in the land of Egypt.
And the outcasts, because we're outcasts in these lands, man. Nobody wants us. They persecute us. They oppress us. Read on.
And shall worship the Lord in the holy mount at Jerusalem.
In the what?
In the holy mount at Jerusalem.
So guess what? This is going into us being taken up by the chariots one by one, bringing us down into the wilderness. There we're going to serve the Most High God with joy and gladness.
Big come. Let's go back to Jeremiah 32 and 40. Now 38.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32 and verse 38. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God. And I will give them one heart and one way.
And one way. Going into, like I said, man, that new bond, man, that covenant, man. Right? The new covenant, read on.
That they may fear me forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Forever, read on.
For the good of them and of their children after them.
For the good of them. For your good, man, read on.
And I will make an everlasting covenant with them.
With who?
With them. That I would not turn away from them to do them good.
So he said, I'm going to make an everlasting covenant with the children of Israel, and I won't turn away, man, from doing them good that I promised them. Read on.
But I will put fear in their hearts, and they shall not depart from me.
So how you going to put that fear in our hearts? Knocking heads out, man. Like he did in the first wilderness. He's going to knock them heads off in the second wilderness. He said, going to put fear in our hearts, man, to serve him and to fear him. Read on.
Verse 41, yea, I will rejoice over them to do them good. I will plant them in this land assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul.
The Most High say he's going to plant us assuredly, man, in this new land with his whole heart, man. Wholeheartedly. When you had, I know when I learned that word wholeheartedly. They like, we used to debate or whatever. And they said, how you feel about it? I wholeheartedly disagree. Wholeheartedly. I learned that new word, wholeheartedly. The Most High God said with his whole heart, man, he going to do that. He going to assure us, man, right? Read on.
Verse
42.
For thus saith the Lord, like as I have brought all this great evil upon this people, so will I bring upon them all the good that I have promised them.
So he said, just like the evil that he brought upon us, he's still going to bring that good that he brought upon us, man. Because that good is going to be refining us, weeding us out, man, from the wicked, man. Purging us out, getting the strong, leaving back behind the weak, right? Taking away the murmurers and complainers and getting those who actually want to serve the Most High God, man, in truth and honesty, man, and sincerity, man. Right? Let's go to Hebrews 3 and 7.
Let me get a precept real quick. Go ahead real quick. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24. In verse 30. It's like we said, Christ is going to give the sound to, guess what, gather the elect. But we know who the elect is according to the scriptures. Get there, read that out.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
In what?
In heaven.
This is immediately after the tribulation, after Jacob's trouble, where we're persecuted, Or some of us might have to be killed. We might be running through the wilderness during this time over here. Guess what? Make it by the hairs of your chin. Read on.
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Going into all the nations because they know that their reign is over. Read on.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
What we read in what? In the book of Isaiah. With a great sound of a trumpet. Read on up.
And they shall gather together his elect.
His what?
His elect.
Read on up.
From the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
So guess what? Christ is going to give that command. Guess what? To the angels. Gather up my elect.
God.
Save them. Bring them up in the chariots. Call them up because I'm finna destroy this land.
We come, man. Good preacher. Let's go to Hebrews 3 and 7.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 3 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost said, today we will hear his voice.
If you will hear his voice.
Salakia. Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost said, today if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts.
Harden not your hearts, Israel. Read on.
As in the provocation, in the day of temptation in the wilderness.
As our forefathers did, man. Don't harden your hearts, man. Don't want to go back to America, man, talking about, man, I could have had a big juicy steak today, man. Or damn, I'm walking in the wilderness, man. I could have been in the bins navigating amongst the trees, man. Come on, we can't do that, man. He said, don't harden your hearts as your forefathers did, man. Read on.
When your fathers tempted me.
When your fathers did what?
Tempted me.
Tempted the Most High God. Does thou tempt thee? Like David, does thou tempt you? You really want to tempt the Most High God, Israel? Don't play the game, man. Not that game. Went on, read on.
And saw my works 40 years.
When your fathers tempted me and did what?
Proved me.
He did what?
Proved me.
Man, Job used to, I'm going to tell y'all, man, Job was heavy, man. Job used to always prove the Lord, man. That's how strong Job was. And the Lord said, okay, well, you going to prove me? Well, I'm going to prove you. So the Most High God said, when your forefathers tempted me and they proved me, like I said, he said, what the Lord swear by. He said, okay, well, prove me and see if I'm lying then. If I say I'm going to knock their wicked butt off the first time and knock them off the second time, that's what I'm going to do. He said, they proved me. And I what? I came through on every word I said, right? Read on.
And saw my works 40 years.
And did what?
And saw my works 40 years.
So they proved him and they seen his works 40 years. That was his proving. To show y'all I ain't playing with y'all. I'm going to let y'all get to this land, but it's not going to be for me. Only a few of y'all, right? Read on.
Wherefore I was grieved with that generation.
He was what?
Grieved with that generation.
The Most High was upset with that generation, man. Read on.
And said, they do always err in their heart.
They do always err in their heart, man. We always err in our heart because we know our hearts and our hearts are wicked, man. Above all things, read on.
And they have not known my ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I swear in my wrath, they shall not.
So the Lord did what?
So I swear in my wrath.
So the Lord swear by it in his wrath, man. That what?
They shall not enter into my rest.
So like the first, it's going to be like the second. If we don't get these things right, the Lord said, I swear in my wrath, you will not enter into the kingdom, man. We better get our minds ready. Like I said, what's the reason for doing all this work to make it to the wilderness and then get knocked out, man? Might as well go out there and start robbing or doing whatever you want to do, man. What's the reason for making it that close? It's like getting to the national championship and then losing. That's hurtful. That's hurtful. That's pain. Ain't nobody coming out there talking about, man, at least we made it to the line. No. We made it here to win. You made it to the wilderness to get your penny. To get your key, man. You don't want to get knocked out. Read on. 11.
Verse 12. Verse 11. So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest.
Read on.
Take heed, brethren.
What did he say?
Take heed, brethren.
Take heed, Israel, man, of these words, man. Take heed of how our forefathers murmured and complained and was destroyed by the destroyer, man, right? Read on.
Lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief.
Because we know our forefathers had an evil heart, man. They had unbelief. Lord, bring it to the wilderness just to kill us? No. Lord, bring it to the wilderness, we thirsty. We hungry, boss. We thirsty. My feet hurt. I'm tired. They had an unbelieving heart, man. Read on.
In departing from the living God.
And departed from the one true God. Read on.
But exhort one another
But
daily.
this is the exhortation that we are doing. We exhort brothers and sisters to gird up your loins, brother. Gird up your skirts, sister. Take off the murmuring and the complaining, man. Exhorting you to make it to the kingdom, man. Right? That's what we're supposed to do. Hebrews 10 and 26, man. Exhorting one another, man. And so much the more as you see the day approaching, man. Because the first wilderness came, the second wilderness is going to approach, man. So we exhort brothers and sisters to gird up their loins, gird up their skirts, get strong in this truth, man. Push toward the mark. Endurance, man. Read on.
While it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
It said, but exhort one another daily, man. We exhort each other daily, man. While it is called today. Because when that time comes, ain't no more practice, man. Ain't no more exhorting. It's game time. Right? You practice all the way up until the day of the game. When the game comes, ain't no more practice. It's game time. So while you got today, brothers and sisters, you need to exhort each other, man, into provoking each other to doing good works, provoking each other to get your spirit right, man. Brother, I believe in you. You can knock that out. Sister, I believe in you. You can knock that sin out. Brother, I know you can get strong in these precepts. Sister, I know you can be a great wife, a great sister to another sister. I know you can do it. We got to exhort each other and provoke us to what? Winning this battle, man, in the second wilderness, man. Come on, man. Read on.
But exhort one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
Because some people just not going to let that deceitfulness of sin go, man. Some people not. That sin going to stay on them. And then if they do make it to the wilderness, man, they're going to get knocked out, man, in the wilderness of sin. Right? So we got to make sure we get comply with the scriptures, man. That's what we got to do, comply. Comply, man. Stop complaining. Stop murmuring, man. Be content. Let's go to Philippians 4 and 11. This is the last
Verse
verse.
14.
Go ahead.
For we are made partakers of Christ, if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end.
If. Y'all got to read the word. Keep if. You made partakers with Christ if you hold fast, man. I mean, you got something you got to do. It's a job that got to be done. It's a game that got to be won, man. It's a key that needs to be gotten. There is a penny that you want to put in your pocket, man. Right? Philippians 4 and 11, man.
This is the book of Philippians, chapter 4 and verse 11.
Bring it out.
Not that I speak in respect of one, for I have learned, in whatsoever state I am.
I have learned, man. This is a learned thing. We are learning day by day. Brothers are learning how to control their spirit. Sisters are learning how to knock off that old woman, man. We have to learn these things. These are learned traits that we must have, man, to what?
In whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content.
To be content. Because in the wilderness, our brothers, our forefathers was not content. They was content with eating manna. They wasn't content with going thirsty, right? They wasn't content with coming into the wilderness because they wanted to go back to Egypt. Just like brothers and sisters ain't going to be content in the wilderness, they going to want to come back to America. But we have to learn to be content in that state, man. Read that again.
This is the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of one, for I have learned, in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased.
I know how to what? Have it all and what?
How to be abased. And I know how to abound.
And I know not how to have nothing. Our forefathers, they didn't learn and understand how to be abased and abound, right? It was abased in Egypt. They thought they was living a good life. But then when the wilderness comes, they didn't know how to do that. But you have to learn these things, man, right? Read on.
Everywhere and in all things, I am instructed.
I am what?
I am instructed.
But it take instructions, man. You have to be instructed. Read on.
Both to be full and to be hungry.
Uh-huh.
Both to abound and to suffer need.
You better learn how to be full and how to be hungry. Because we know we done been there before. I said, I'm a big boy. I know I done learned how to be hungry though. Go in there and look at the refrigerator a couple times. That'll get it off you.
And it's also for brothers and sisters. It's going into your fasting and praying. Man. So learn how to be content. That means learn how to control your spirit.
That's right.
Keep yourself in order with the Most High God, man.
Big con on that, man. We always say keep the laws of the Most High God, man. So we're going to get a law before we get out of here. I thank brothers and sisters for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube. If you haven't hit that,
20 and 22.
Leviticus 20 and 22 will be the law for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't hit that subscribe on YouTube, hit that subscribe. You can get all of our classes, man. Brothers and sisters, let's gird up our loins. Sisters, gird up your skirt. Let's keep pushing, man. Second wilderness is coming, but we can't have murmurers and complaining, man. Right? So let's get this law going, man. Thank brothers and sisters for sending the GoFundMe or the Cash App. That money is being greatly used, man, to uplift this kingdom, man. To build this nation back up, to get us where we need to be, man. Leviticus what?
20 and 22.
Slack, brother. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 22.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 22. Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them, that the land whether I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out.
That's why we all can make it. Because the land would have spewed you out, man. This is holy ground you standing on. And you out here doing wickedness, the land would have spewed you out. Read on.
Verse 24, 23. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation.
Read that again.
And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation.
We got to knock out these Christianity, this homosexuality, this interracial. We got to knock this out. These are the manners of the nation. Now read on. Read on.
Which I cast out before you. For they committed all these things. And therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit the land. And I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people.
Big con. So we know the Most High swear by it to give us that land, but it ain't for many. It's for what? It's for few, man. Brothers and sisters, get your minds right. If brothers and sisters got any questions, give us a call. Hit us up. YouTube page, like we said, Gmail. I think we got Gmail or what? YouTube, email. Email, just whatever our email is. It's on the description, man. Y'all got anything, brothers? With that, man, we say